Hey, what's up, guys? We are back with another video. Shout out to everyone. Shout out to all the subscribers, to all the supporters of the channel. All right. Make sure you guys all hit that like button for me on your way in. Share the video if you could. And if you are new to the channel, please subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell notification button as well, so you'll be alerted whenever I drop new content. All right. We're gonna have a little fun today. We're gonna have an open discussion today about this this random, totally random topic that I brought up with the light heavyweight division. Okay. And if you follow me on Twitter, I posted it on Twitter. It actually started, this whole thing started on Twitter. All right. I just made a tweet yesterday. Just, I was thinking about this. I've always thought about this, but since Bivol and Beterbiev had a good year, I felt like tweeting it. And I basically tweeted like, hey, look, of all of these four fighters, and I mean Dmitry Bivol, Adonis Stevenson, Sergey Kovalev, and Arthur Beterbiev, all right, if they all were to fight each other in their primes, all right, in their primes, around their primes, who would come out on top, or who would have the least amount of losses? Let me say that. I think that's better to say because, I've been reading comments on this. People are still leaving comments on Twitter and on YouTube in response to this. And, I've read so many different opinions, and I really appreciate just all the feedback I'm getting, because a lot of people are bringing up, like, I can tell when certain fans don't really, might be a little newer, or they may not remember, what was happening at that time when Stevenson and Kovalev was doing their thing at 175. And I'm talking like before Andre Ward, they may not really remember what it was like when those two were fighting at the time that they were fighting. And I can tell, or I can tell when some people are new or they're not really, knowledgeable, and that's okay. They may be a little bit more casual, but what started the idea was, I don't like the way that a lot of boxing fans just dismiss these two as if they wouldn't be able to compare to Bivol and Beterbiev. And if you believe that, that's fine. You're entitled to, you all are entitled to your opinions on this, but I think people tend to forget when it comes to boxing. We don't really remember what guys were doing in the past. Even when we were there to witness it, you tend to forget how good certain fighters were at the time when they had their run. And Bivol and Beterbiev look amazing, and this is not like I think I might have questioned it. I might have posted it as if I'm directly comparing those two to these two, but I'm actually just comparing the four of them all together, because I made this because none of them fought each other professionally. I mean, none of them have fought each other. And that's the reason why I wanted to make this video, because it's just at this point, until Bivol and Beterbiev fight, if they do fight, it's just a mythical conversation. It's no different from having any other debate on a fantasy matchup. This is no different from talking about, I don't know, like Marvin Hagler and, I don't know, some guy from a different James Toney or something. You know what I'm saying? It's no different from that, because none of these guys up to this point, even though two of them are actively fighting at light heavy, none of the four of these guys have fought professionally. Okay. So I thought it would be a good topic. I didn't want to include Andre Ward into the mix because he had two fights with Kovalev. They were very controversial, and I'll speak on that later at some point in this video. I didn't want to bring up Ward because he actually fought Kovalev twice. Okay. So that's why I didn't bring them up, because everybody would go back to these two fights where they're gonna judge and base their opinion off those two fights, being that Kovalev was undefeated at the time. The first fight was controversial in the sense that many people don't feel that Ward won, that he got a gift because it was in his hometown, yada, yada, yada. And in the second fight, because of the low blows. And I didn't want this debate to be about that. Plus, not only that, but I wanted to have a conversation about these four guys specifically, not only because they never faced each other, but the scenarios are very similar, because the last generation guys, Kovalev and Stevenson, Kovalev was unified with 3 of the titles, and Stevenson had 1 title over there. He had a WBC title. And in this scenario, you have Bivol and Beterbiev. Bivol has more, 1 title, but Beterbiev is holding the other 3. And that's why I really wanted to do the comparison. So I knew that there was going to be people that was going to jump out and say, well, why do you include Ward, or why do you include Alexander Volzdik? Or, even some people started throwing names of like, other fighters from the past, like Roy Jones Jr. I've read a couple comments saying, well, Roy Jones Jr. will beat all 4, or Andre Ward will beat all 4, or Volzdik was better than, I think Volzdik lost to Beterbiev, but I feel like he would beat the other 3. I read comments like that, either on YouTube or I read them on Twitter. I read them on social media, and I wanted to stick to these 4 specifically because none of them actually fought each other, and it's just a hypothetical question like, yo, how do you guys feel if they were to be, not even, I don't even want to say a tournament, but I would like to say, like, if they all had to face each other each in their primes, that's a key thing, in their primes. And if they did fight each other, who would come out with the least amount of losses? Because I think it's a great discussion, simply because none of the 4 of them, all 4 of them are 2 or 4 totally different guys, like as far as styles. You got 3 Russian fighters in there, but they don't fight similar in any way. They all have their own like unique styles. And then you have Adonis Stevenson, who's the southpaw in the mix here. Okay, the only Russian, the non-Russian fighter here. Oh, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. Volzdik is Ukrainian, so my bad. Just need to correct that. But yeah, Stevenson is the southpaw of the group. Okay, all have power. But I believe that Bivol is probably the only fighter that don't have like devastating power. You know what I'm saying? That's not known to be a KO artist. But yeah, that's why I wanted to have the discussion, because mainly what triggered it was the way people talk about Kovalev and Stevenson as if they weren't that good when they were that good. I remember looking at pound for pound list and having pound for pound debates over the years. If we're talking, 2013, 2014, 2015, where Kovalev before the Ward fight was considered to be a top 5 guy, where Triple G was considered to be a top 5 guy. Yes, you had Floyd Mayweather, you might have had Manny Pacquiao, but Golovkin was up there, Sergey Kovalev was up there as well. And Adonis Stevenson was always around that area of the top 10. Like, he was always hovering around the 10th spot, because he had a pretty good run, and he had a very unique like style, very powerful, very explosive. I don't think people give enough credit to him, and I understand. I'll speak on some of them things because I'm going to be very unbiased with this video. I like all of these guys. I've covered these guys' their careers in my period of being here on YouTube. I've covered their fights. You know, I've spoken on news, politics, stuff like that. I remember watching their fights live. I've gone to some of their fights. I've seen some of these fighters in person. You know, I've met some of these fighters. You know, I've actually legit met Kovalev. Uh, you know, just I met him on a night where Golovkin fought Lemieux right across the street from Madison Square Garden. I met him. I actually took a picture with him years ago. Even though I'm not much of a fan of him now as like a person, I always respected his boxing ability. You know, so when I hear people talk about the way they talk about him, like the way they talk, they make it seem like even with Ward, you know, and this video is not about Ward, but you know, people tend to get excited when, you know, a fighter is dominant over another good fighter. And that has been that way for Bivol and Beterbiev in recent years, especially Bivol. He's having an excellent year. I think he's my personal fighter of the year, you know. He's my personal fighter of the year. And I think when, you know, he beat Zerto the other day, when he beat Canelo, but when he beat Zerto the other day, it's like people started, oh, he would have destroyed Ward, or he would have destroyed Kovalev, or and people tend to disrespect Stevenson as he's some bum. I understand that. Yes, he was with the PBC, okay, and then he did fight a lot of guys that he had no business really fighting. So I understand. But we're gonna get all into that. All right, so let's start off with let me just give you an overall view of how I feel about these four specifically. Like, what comes to mind when I think about the four of the fighters? I'm gonna go back to the fighters that from the previous generation. Like, let's start with Sergey Kovalev. When I think of Sergey Kovalev, you know, I think the first fight that probably comes to mind is the Nathan Cleverly fight. You know, I think that was when I knew who he was, but that's when I started really paying attention to him. I remember the fight was on HBO, and you know, I just remember the buzz being there and them building up Kovalev at that time. And you know, at that time they was building up, hyping up Triple G at the same time. And then you all heard about all the sparring stories, the amateur stories. You know, all of these guys at that time had fights with Darnell Boone. You know, if you guys, I don't know if you guys remember, but Darnell Boone had knocked out Adonis Stevenson in their first fight. He had dropped Ward in their fight. Darnell Boone also, now the Kovalev fight, first fight is off the internet, right? But I heard that he either dropped him or gave him a really, really tough fight where people felt that Boone won the fight. But Kovalev, I remember the Nathan Cleverly fight. That's at that point, that's when I started to really zero in on him and watch him. And the one thing about like Kovalev was the jab, you know, distance, the jab, the use of his jab had a really, really good one too. You know, and he was just powerful. You know, they called him the Crusher, and you know, he just can box. And I think as time went on, when we saw him fight Bernard Hopkins, or when we saw him fight Andre Ward in the first fight, we realized that, oh, he can actually box for real. You know, even though Bernard Hopkins was way past it at that point, it was just the way that Kovalev boxed that stood out. You know, we saw the John Pascal fight, and we saw like we saw all of those fights that was being shown on HBO. Let me pull up his record here, because I have all their box recs up and ready just in case I had to track back to their resumes and stuff. All right, but looking at Kovalev, you know, I remember the Ismail Sila fight. I remember the Cedric Agnew fight. All of these fights were on HBO at the time. You know, I remember the Blake Capillero fight because he dropped Kovalev. I remember that fight. You know, I remember all of these fights. They were good wins. They were solid wins, but at this time, there wasn't that many killers up at the light heavyweight division, you know. Um, but Kovalev was doing his thing. He finally got Hopkins, and believe it or not, I know that it looks crazy now saying this. It sounds crazy, but when Kovalev was fighting B Hop and we were talking about it, like leading up to the fight, I was on YouTube already at that time. When we were talking about it, it was a lot of people that were going both ways because at that time, Kovalev didn't really beat anyone that was a notable, like, household name yet. And Hopkins, even though he was struggling and fighting guys that weren't so good at that point and that stage, he was still picking up some solid wins. He beat Taboris Cloud. He beat Kyrok Murad. He beat Beibus Shumanev and dropped them in that fight. But it was kind of a weak division. I'm not going to lie. I felt like it was at that time. I felt like it really was, at that point. Light heavyweight wasn't popping like the way it is right now. So, with all that being said, he beats the I'm sorry, let me go back real quick. So anyway, Sergey Kovalev, big power puncher, really, really good jab, really good 1-2, just knows how to control distance. He's a long range / mid-range fighter, not an inside fighter. His weaknesses, not great to the body, not the greatest endurance. From what I remember, listening to, he didn't really have the best fitness in between fights and stuff. So I think that was part of the reason why, he didn't look so great in certain fights. But, I think him changing trainers after the Alida Alvarez fight and just getting back to just being a natural boxer, he was still able to come back and pick up a couple really, really good wins, before he really passed it. I think him coming back and beating Alida Alvarez in that rematch, right? And then going to beat an undefeated young Anthony Yard was huge, right? Now, the Canelo fight, weird to me, good win for Canelo, but it's just he took a beating in Yard fight and he had to go straight right back into fighting Canelo, and he had to. I think the weight drain was a lot for him. Honestly, I think him coming back, returning to fight Canelo right away, and having agreed to a rehydration clause. The Kovalev in that fight looked the weakest he's ever looked. I mean, even in the Yard fight, which was just a couple months prior, he looked strong still. He didn't look strong against Canelo. He did good with his jab. He did good with closing the distance, but I didn't see any power. I didn't see the crusher. And even though he had changed his style at that point, he didn't look like the fighter I remembered him to be. The fighter that I used to watch on HBO all the time, just destroying dudes. You know what I'm saying? So, Kovalev, that's what I think about the dude. I think Kovalev had a good career. He held up the top 5 pound for pound spot for a good amount of time. I do believe that he won the first Andre Ward fight. Andre Ward is one of my top 20 great favorite fighters of all time. So the bias is there for Ward. I love Andre Ward, man. I love Andre Ward. But I don't think he won the fight against Kovalev. I remember how I scored it. I remember watching it 2 or 3 times, and I remember scoring it the same every time, 7 rounds to 5. I remember giving Ward like 1 of the first 6, and 4 in the last 6. And I remember those rounds being very debatable rounds that I gave him. I just don't think he won the first fight. especially after getting knocked down. I think he did come back and did win the second half, but it was still very competitive in the second half. All right. As far as the rematch is concerned, I think some of the punches were low blows. I don't think as many, I know people have done film study videos and stuff. I blame that fight on the ref, lack of warnings. It took away from the win. Obviously, he got the stoppage, but it still takes away from it a little bit, because there were some legit low blows in there. But Ward did what he had to do, and I blame a lot of that on the refereeing in that fight. And that's how I feel about it. That's the piece, part of the reason why I didn't really want to just go into that Ward fight or even include Ward, since they fought and the controversy about around those two fights, But I do think Kovalev won the first. I do think he won the first, and I think I could watch that fight at any point in my life and still feel that way. I can't watch it. It got to a point when I would watch the fight to find a reason to give it to Ward, because I really want Ward to win. And I can't say, I got to be honest, like, I just don't think he won that fight. All right. So that's my views on Sergey Kovalev. So let's go to Adonis Stevenson real quick. All right. Stevenson, he had an interesting career, because I know he did time in prison. And I know he started pro very late. He was pushing 30 when he started pro. I can't remember the first fight I watched him in. Oh, Charles, man, thank you for coming through, man. Damn, thank you, man. My man, 100 grand. He says, a wave. I always thought Bivol was nice. He's technically sound and must have a strong right hand, because mugs don't want none of after he lands it clean. Also, I thought Beterbiev was overhyped because I just caught on to him, but his last fight was amazing. Do you think Bivol has enough pop in the right to keep Beterbiev off of him? Are we getting that next, or Canelo? Good question. You said a lot in this comment here. Always thank you for the super donation, man. I really appreciate it. I've been back with Bivol and Beterbiev, and I'm going to stick with Bivol. I think by the time they fight, I think Bivol will win the fight. Okay. At some point in this video, I am breaking the four of them down. But there's going to be a point in this video where I'm going to actually break down their styles and compare what I think the outcome would be if they were to fight. I'm leaning towards Bivol in that fight, though. I do not think Beterbiev is overrated. I thought that maybe at some point, when I saw the Callum Johnson fight, when he got dropped there, I didn't care about when he got dropped by Jeff Page. It was the Callum Johnson fight that made me feel like he might be a bit overrated. But when I saw him beat Alexander Volzdik, at that point, I realized that he was a complete boxer, and we can't sleep on him, Even when going back to the Callum Johnson fight and going back to fights where, like the recent Joe Smith Jr., which I went to, that was the first fight that I went to since the pandemic. And I had a great time. It was live in there, but Beterbiev is a very good boxer. We don't give him enough credit because he's always stopping everyone. But I have Bivol. I'm leaning towards Bivol. All right. But going back to Adonis Stevenson, I can't remember which fight was the first fight that I saw of Adonis Stevenson. I can't remember. But I remember him stopping Chad Dawson in the first round. And that knockout there is what really shook, like, the sport, because it was a crazy knockout. It was in the first round. It was crazy, and I know Chad was coming off of the stoppage loss to Andre Ward, but Andre Ward beat him up, but Chad, who was a big guy, coming down to 168, he probably really had no business being down there, but Ward stopped him. He goes back up, and Adonis Stevenson drops him, stops him. Crazy knockout. One of the best knockouts of the year, right? Of the year. Crazy knockout. And at that point, I started to really focus on this dude, starting going back to watching his old videos on how he lost and stuff like that. All right, he had already avenged his loss to Darnell Boone, right? He beat Tavares Cloud, who at that point I think only had lost to. Let me see real quick because I can't remember who Tavares Cloud lost to first. Was it B-Hop? Yeah, it was B-Hop. It was B-Hop. Okay. So he lost to B-Hop first, then lost to Adonis Stevenson, and then I think Arthur Beterbiev just pretty much finished him off. And that was it. Who was overrated? This is, again, I think light heavy was kind of weak. You had like really, really the super talented, the mega talented guys. And then you had like a bunch of guys that were just okay, right? So anyway, he beats Tavares Cloud, which was a good win at the time because Cloud only had lost to B-Hop. All right. He fights Tony Bellew and stops Tony Bellew, dominates Tony Bellew, which is a very, very good win if you really think about it, because Tony Bellew went on to do good things up at cruiserweight and even heavyweight, right? I would probably say that my favorite Adonis Stevenson fight was Andre Fonfara, the first fight. This fight right here was a classic. Like, I don't want to say classic because not everybody's going to remember it, but this was a great fight. This fight here was a great fight. This had to be Adonis Stevenson's best fight that I can remember. All right, because they both got dropped. Fonfara got dropped and hurt throughout the fight, but he just kept coming, and he gave Adonis Stevenson hell while Adonis Stevenson was still in his prime, right? All right, and then there started being these fights where no one really cared for, and this is all the way still in 2014, Bika, Carpensy, Thomas Williams Jr. They're all solid guys, but he fought from far in a rematch, destroyed them in 2 rounds. All right. And then at this point, he fights Badou Jack. And at this point, it was pretty clear that, the age, because he started very late and the age started catching up to him. And I feel like at this point in his career, he was past it. We saw it in the fight, it ended up being a draw, but I feel like Badou Jack underperformed against a Stevenson who was clearly past it. And then you had the Alexander Volzdik fight, which was a very competitive fight. I have to go back and watch it. I wish I had time to go back and watch it before making this video. But I remember it being competitive, and there was a point where Volzdik started to put pressure on Stevenson, and he put him away, which almost cost Stevenson his life, all right, outside of the ring. Stevenson, what I remember about him is just him being so explosive. I think out of the group here, he was the quickest. But I felt like he was the most limited, meaning he had a deadly left hand, but he was the most limited. Didn't really have many other weapons there. Big cross, left cross, straight left hand. He'd shoot it to the body. The jab was just there to set up the left hand. The hook was just there just to throw you off. He didn't do much. The lead hand wasn't a weapon like the way the right hand wasn't a weapon. He was basically like Dion just said. I used to compare him to Wilder a lot. Stevenson's much more skilled than Wilder, though. As far as fundamentals, I still believe that he's more skilled. I think he was a better defender. I think he had, I think he knew how to control distance very, very well. I think some of his flaws really, outside of being limited as far as offensively, I think he lunged in with the left hand at times too much, and it would cost him with counters. He was just sometimes he just lunged way too in, like his head would be too far in. He had balance issues, but I think Sugar Hill, when he was with Crump, I think they worked on some of these. So I saw development with him throughout the years, right? But he definitely got better. I think he definitely made more use of his right hook and his lead hand overall. But he was the most limited, but I think he was the most explosive as far as like the power that he had in his left hand and his speed. I think he's underrated in certain areas, in certain cases, as far as his talent. All right. You could say he's a one-handed fighter, but if you're a one-handed fighter that knows exactly how to use it against boxers that were more, I guess, overall more talented, that's all that really matters. Like, I don't think Wilder is the most skilled, and I don't think he's more skilled than a lot of fighters that he fought, but he knew how to fight pure boxers. And I felt like that with Stevenson as well. I'm curious to know how good Stevenson would have been if he had started a little bit earlier in his career, turning pro right before 30 and really being in his prime in his mid 30s, mid to late 30s. It's kind of crazy if you think about it. All right. Shout out to everyone that's coming in. Deflex1, what's up, man? Thank you for the super chat. He says, did you see that drunk video of Errol? I'm not talking about that today, man. And I'm actually not going to talk about that error because first of all, I don't know how legit it is. It looks legit, but you know what? That's his personal business with his girl. It looks bad. I don't know if that's even real. If it is real, I hope he gets some help. If it isn't real, then more of a reason for me to not talk about it. I know everyone's eating on that, but I'm not eating on that. I'm talking about something that's totally unrelated right now. All right. What's up, Boxing Gyms? I see you, bro. What's good with you? Boxing Gyms is in the building. All right. So let's talk about the fighters of today. Right? Bivol. When I think of Bivol, that guy is like the Einstein out the group. I feel like he's the smartest one. He's the smartest one out the group. I think he's the most well-rounded. I think he's the most technical out the group. I think the fundamentals is just on point. He's the best defender out the group. He's probably the least powerful, but when I say that, please don't think that I'm sleeping on his power. I think he has the power to knock people out. I just don't think that's his main strength like the other three. I think the other three just had more power. It was more likely to get you out of there or try to get you out of there. I don't remember what fight I saw Bivol first involved in. I don't know which was the first fight. All right. But I've been watching him for a minute. I want to say I've been watching him since at least maybe a couple fights, maybe the Cedric Agnew fight. I can't remember what was the first, but he started off quick. He went straight in. So did Beterbiev. These two are totally not like, they were great amateurs, and they started fighting top tier guys straight out the gate. It didn't take long for Beterbiev to fight Sullivan Barrera, Isaac Chilemba, the past guys, the fading guys. John Pascal, still very good, but he was fading a little bit. He was definitely outside his prime, even at this time in 2018. The Joe Smith Jr. fight probably was the best fight, maybe one of the better fights of his career as far as action, but really highly technical, very technical fighter. That's all I got to really say about him. The smartest one out the group. And 31 years old, still in his physical prime. And he's a guy that he's just gonna outsmart you. He's gonna outthink you. He can adjust to whatever you're doing. He's the best defender out the group. And that's what really stands out about him. You know, he doesn't have the explosive one punch knockout power like Stevenson. You know, he doesn't have the jab that Kovalev has, as far as like, you know, being at the range that Kovalev likes to fight. You don't have the raw, you know, killer mentality that Arthur Beterbiev have. But you know what? He's probably the most well-rounded out the group. You know, I think the only fight where I saw him not look so good was the Craig Richards fight. And I tweeted about that the other day because I watched some of it the other day. That was a tough fight for Bivol, and it was a legit tough fight. I don't think Bivol slacked at all. What I noticed in that fight, and if you want, you can go back, Craig Richards gave him issues with distance, the jab. All right. Doesn't have a longer reach or anything like that, but he knew how to keep Bivol outside of his range. He did a good job with that. And I felt like Bivol had to walk into a lot of jabs and right hands in order to close the distance. And Craig is good for that. You know, that's why he was a good fight for Joshua Buatsi. You know, good test. He's just a guy that is he got good fundamentals, and he's a good defensive fighter too. And I think Bivol struggled against him. Bivol still won clearly, but he struggled against the guy. And I think he struggled not because he was sleeping on him, but because, maybe him being, you know, out in the ring for a year might have something to do with it too. So Bivol definitely might have been rusty. But that's the only fighter that I felt like made a great use of his jab against Bivol and make him struggle a little bit, you know. But Bivol is the guy that's like, I think out of this group, if you watch boxing, you know, I think he's like the Tim Duncan out of this group. All fundamentals, nothing flashy, you know. Safety first fighter, defensive first fighter. You know, he said that I think his father trained him to be that way. You know, you don't want to take too many hits. And that's the way he is, you know, and that's what I think of him. All right. He's been actually my personal favorite fighter at 175 since the Ward Kovalev Stevenson era. All right. And then you have Beterbiev, who's just a violent serial killer. Yo, I don't know how else to describe Arthur Beterbiev, because I mean, just look at this picture I got up on BoxRec. This picture is exactly the energy he gets off when he's fighting. This guy has 18 wins and 18 knockouts. 18 wins and 18 knockouts. He doesn't let anyone go the distance with him. He's just crazy. That's all I got to say about him. But the problem with Beterbiev, and I've been watching him from the beginning as far as his professional career, because it only took a few fights for him to get in there with Tavares Cloud. That was the fight that, you know, not that I thought any high of Tavares Cloud. I knew he was going to get stopped, but I was familiar with Beterbiev at that point. And at that point, I was like, okay, he beat Cloud, cool, big puncher. But then the Jeff Page Jr. fight happened. And then he destroys Jeff Page in 2 rounds, but he got dropped in the fight by a guy that seemed to be a pretty solid boxer. But Jeff Page was like a nobody. Nobody knew who he was at that time. So I thought it was kind of weird. All right, he got dropped by that guy. He beats Gabriel Campillo, who was like an older guy that everybody fought at light heavy. You know, he's past it. And then, you know, he picked up a few other wins. They're good wins, but he was plagued with injuries. And, you know, none of these guys, this streak of fights, they didn't do anything for me. So I'm not going to lie. I watched this guy, Beterbiev, but I'm not feeling these opponents at all. You know, people talk about Stevenson and his resume. Beterbiev's resume is not that good. You know, he beat Tavares Cloud quickly, and that's a fighter that's good to get in your 6th professional fight or 7th professional fight. Oh, was it 6? But you went from Tavares Cloud, who was a former champion, to fighting Jeff Page, Gabriel Campillo, Alexander Johnson, you know, all these guys, all the way up to Callum Johnson, were just okay guys. They were regular guys. And we thought Callum Johnson was good. The hype was good. Callum Johnson is undefeated. This guy, knockout puncher, you know, at that time, he had a good record. And we just wanted to see it because you just want to see him against another puncher. And so it was a step up to me. And even though he won and destroyed Callum Johnson, he got dropped again. And this time he didn't just get dropped like Jeff Page. He got dropped and he got hurt. So at this point, I'm already watching Bivol. You know, I mean, the guys like Kovalev, they're kind of on their way out. You know, we was having conversations about Bivol. I mean, Bivol, Kovalev, and this guy, Beterbiev possibly fighting. You know, but you know, I think Kovalev had eventually lost to Canelo, so that was just like, okay, that's a dud. But we knew that, you know, Volsdik had fought Beterbiev in the amateurs, and we knew that Kovalev had lost to Beterbiev in the amateurs. So I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm still not sure about this. I'm not sold on him. He looks really strong, and he's beating these guys. You know, he fought Kalajic, which was a good win. It was a good fight. That's a good fight. If you haven't seen that fight, that was a good action-packed. The Callum Johnson fight was a very good fight. It was just too damn short. But the Callum Johnson fight was a good fight. The Kalajic fight, that was a guy that gave Marcus Brown hell. I thought Marcus Brown got a gift decision. That's my man, too. Thought he got a gift decision against Kalajic. All right. But then when Beterbiev destroyed Alexander Volsdik, who already stopped and retired Stevenson, that was the fight that did it. That was the fight that said, okay, I think Beterbiev is too strong. He might be the best in the game. And that fight there, that fight right there is the fight that showed us that he's a real boxer. You know what I'm saying? He's a real boxer. This guy he's just not. I felt like he stepped up when he fought Volsdik. Out of respect of the skills and the talent there, I felt like Beterbiev, we saw all of what he can actually do. And that was a fight that really made me okay, this guy might be the best guy in the division. And this guy might be possibly a pound for pound guy by being Alexander Volsdik, who was undefeated at the time. All right. And then you had, the Adam Dinas fight, which was a kind of, he had injuries. He was out for a minute. You had Adam Dinas fight. You had the Marcus Brown fight, which was a good win. Marcus had only had one loss at that point. And, and then he had the Joe Smith Jr. fight, which was earlier this year, right? Which was a great win too. So Beterbiev is the killer out the group. You got three punchers in this mix, three big punchers, but they all do it differently. I think Beterbiev is a guy that's going to beat you down. He's just going to beat you down. He's going to punish you. He's extremely strong, right? Very strong guy, power in both hands, more of a mid-range, not a long range, more of a mid-range inside fighter. The Marcus Brown fight was a very grueling fight. Marcus, who was all defensive in that fight, not much offensive, but mostly defensive. It was a bloody mess of a fight. I think Beterbiev got cut. I think they had headbutts. I remember it just being a bloody fight. And I remember Bivol just really bringing on the pressure and being a bully and punishing Marcus in that fight. And just, Marcus, who always had a reputation of being kind of chinny, he actually stuck it out for a good amount of time and took a lot of punishment in that fight. He took a lot there. Joe Smith Jr., who has never been down as an amateur or pro, got abused in New York by Beterbiev. I was pissed because I felt like Beterbiev was beating all the guys from New York. He beat Marcus Brown and went right to beating up Joe Smith Jr. That's really pissed me off. He beat my boy and then he beat my other boy. So I felt a way about that, but it is what it is. But Beterbiev is, when I think of him, he's just an animal, I saw somebody left a comment saying something about him looking like Wolverine. you know. But yeah. So he's the beast, you know. I feel like Bivol is the opposite, you know. I feel like Kovalev is, you know, he's the guy that power in both hands, but you know, he beats you up quietly. You know, he's not as violent as a Beterbiev. He beats you up quietly. And then Stevenson is just one punch KO. Like, I'm just gonna, you know, highlight reel. Like, I'm gonna hit you this one hand and I'm gonna knock you out. That's it. You know, he's like a light heavy Deontay Wilder. So they're all different. They're all different fighters. They're all different fighters. And they all bring different gifts and tools. And I feel like it brings forth an amazing discussion here, because it's like, I'm not sure if any of these fighters win all of these fights. I think all of them have different tools that stylistically could be an advantage for whoever they're facing, you know. And we're gonna get to that now. All right, so when I think of, let's talk about Stevenson Kovalev real quick. All right, I just want to get the politics a little bit out of the way, because I seen I seen a few who was leaving comments about the politics. So just so you know, Stevenson and Kovalev were both HBO fighters. All right, there was a point where they were both light heavyweights getting crazy knockouts. They were on HBO. They were both HBO, and HBO were building them up to fight each other at some point, right? Stevenson wasn't undefeated, but he was having a great run. You know, ever since his knockout loss, he had a great run, came back, avenged his loss to Donald Boone, knocked out Chad Dawson. You know, Chad Dawson, you got stopped by Ward, but Chad Dawson at 175 was undefeated, you know. Oh, no, he lost to John Pascal, but he beat like B-Hop. He beat who did Chad Dawson beat? He beat a few Jermaine Taylor, I think. Who did he beat? He beat up a few really, really good fighters, right? And it was a big win. It was big at that time. You know, Chad had beat I'm sorry, I said Jermaine Taylor. I meant Antonio Taro. My bad. He beat Antonio. He beat all the outgoing guys at that time. Glenn Johnson. He beat Tomas Agnamic, who actually ended up having a solid heavyweight career. All right, but he beat Glenn Johnson. He beat Antonio Tarver. He beat, you know, he lost to John Pascal, but he beat B-Hop. Right? He beat B-Hop. The first one, B-Hop did a B-Hop, you know, fell on the ground, and then he was out. You know, they had to reschedule the fight. But he beat B-Hop. So Chad was a good win. It was a great win, actually. It was a great win. Even though Chad was coming off a loss, it was still a good win for Adonis Stevenson. And like I said, HBO was building these guys up to collide. The first thing that happened that screwed up the fight is Adonis Stevenson leaves HBO, signs with PBC, and he's on Showtime. And everybody viewed that as a complete duck, because he was already with HBO. Now, on Adonis' end, I think, I can't remember, but I remember it being, I think his argument, maybe the deal, the money or something wasn't enough for him. I think PBC at the time, you know, I don't even know if they were named PBC yet, but at the time, I think Al Heyman offered Adonis more money to come over to Showtime. They did that fight. A couple years later, Sergey Kovalev became unified, right? He's still just crushing dudes on HBO. Adonis Stevenson's on Showtime doing his thing. So they're both, that's still the top two guys. I mean, Andre Ward eventually came up and, you know, fought and led to Kovalev, but that was kind of afterwards, you know. Adonis Stevenson, they tried to make the fight. It's weird, but the WBC actually mandated for Kovalev and Adonis Stevenson to fight each other. But on this occasion, the politics screwed it up. There was like an exclusive deal for Kovalev where he couldn't go to the other side to fight on Showtime. And Kathy Duva, the promoter of Kovalev and main events, pulled out of that fight. So there was a period where it was kind of Kovalev's, not Kovalev's fault, but at least Kovalev's in on the politics on that side ruined the second go around. So the first go around, the first go around, thanks, Jen. The first go around, it was it was definitely Adonis Stevenson just pulling out, and he just got out of there on HBO. Fight never went down. HBO got War to fight Kovalev, and the rest is history. You know, Stevenson just kept doing his thing on Showtime. But you know, nothing was really happening with Stevenson. You know, the quality of the fights went down as he started aging, you know, and people just stopped caring. Who do I think would have won that fight? I don't know. I know at the time when they were both on HBO, I felt like the duck kind of changed my views on how the fight would actually go, because I felt like Kovalev got ducked by Adonis Stevenson. Adonis Stevenson ducked him. And then I was like, you know, maybe he's just like afraid. But, you know, when we're talking about film study and stuff, I'm not really sure, because when people talk about these four dudes, and let me say this, let me make this point very clear, because this is a very important point. I feel that a lot of these four guys, that in their prime, all right, and I mean Stevenson. I'm talking about Stevenson that knocked out Chad Dawson, not Stevenson that fought Alexander Vosdik. I'm not talking about Kovalev that fought Canelo Alvarez. I'm not talking about the versions. I'm talking about Kovalev that fought Nathan Cleverly. You know, I'm talking about Kovalev that fought Bernard Hopkins. All right, someone that fought John Pascal. I'm not talking about late Kovalev. All right. Bivol, Beterbiev, you know, I don't know where Beterbiev is really. I mean, based on his performance against Joe Smith Jr., even though he's going to be 38, he still appears to be in his physical prime. You know, in his most recent fight, he looks as good as he did in his best win against Alexander Vosdik. So I'm assuming that he's still in his physical prime right now. And Bivol, to me, is in his physical prime as well. I don't know what happens with Stevenson and Kovalev. I think it's a 50-50 fight. All right. I think Kovalev, the people that Kovalev beat in his career, I believe that Stevenson beats as well. All right. I honestly believe that. If we're leaving Andre Ward out the equation, I'm going to leave that over there, because that's a whole topic that I feel that is going to just rile up a whole debate on that fight and who should have won and how the second fight. I don't want to do that. But when I look at Kovalev, outside of Andre Ward, I feel that Adonis Stevenson would have beaten anyone that Kovalev had beaten. And I feel that anyone that Stevenson beat, Kovalev would have beaten as well. So I'm not going with the whole resume talk, because I feel like, yes, Stevenson was fighting some good fighters, and then he drifted down in the quality of opponents. But I also don't feel like Kovalev fought nothing but great people. I feel that both of them needed each other. Both needed that fight to happen, and it never happened. Now, Kovalev ended up taking harder fights later. He did. All right. He definitely did. But in the beginning, I felt like Kovalev wasn't fighting the greatest guys needed. He was working his way up. And then when he got there, he had some good wins. But that's that. Overall, I would probably say Kovalev has a better career, but I still feel that Stevenson would have beaten people that he beat. It's very tough to call, because I think Stevenson can hurt Kovalev. You know, I think Kovalev does a good job. I think he has a good jab. I think he has a good 1-2, but I think it would have been a very, very tough fight to call. I think somebody gets knocked out. I just don't know who. I think Stevenson is very, very dangerous early on. You know, so if Kovalev in his prime, you know, because we know that he had endurance issues too. They both did. But in his prime, I think if Kovalev fought a smart fight and boxed, and then went on and started to push the attack a little bit later, like the way Bellew did. I know Bellew got knocked out by Stevenson, but Bellew for a good amount of rounds fought a very, very cautious fight with Stevenson. He's just offensively, he didn't have much to offer. I believe that he was probably drained, probably the reason why he moved up to cruiserweight after that fight, that loss, because he didn't have that punch, you know. But I think if Kovalev dragged it out a little bit, I think he would have probably won. If he took it into deep waters. Stevenson, on the other hand, dangerous, more dangerous early on. His speed and his power in that left hand. I know he just has a left hand, but he always found a way to connect with that left hand. And I think if Kovalev was too aggressive earlier, he would have definitely got caught with one. If I had to pick a winner, I would probably pick, if they had to really fight, it's so 50-50 to me, man. I don't know. I'm gonna leave that. I don't know. I think that might be one of the hardest ones to pick for me. Stevenson and Kovalev. Because I see someone getting stopped. I just don't know who. But I feel like if Stevenson were to win, he would stop Kovalev early. And I feel like if Kovalev were to win, he would stop Stevenson maybe after the 8th round. All right. I'm not really sure. What's up, Charles? Nah, I'm not drinking anything tonight, man. I'm chilling today. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I can't pick that one. I'm gonna hold that. Yeah, and we're gonna discuss other fights. Now if Adonis Stevenson had fought Artur Beterbiev, I think the same thing, but I think Artur would do exactly what he did against Callum Johnson and fight more on his back foot. The problem is, I do think that Stevenson had a good chance of stopping him too, simply because I've seen Beterbiev get dropped, but I've seen exactly what happened when he got dropped. Like let me trace back to the Callum Johnson fight. I think it was more of him just being too close. You know, he's a mid-range fighter. You know, Stevenson is kind of long-range, mid-range. I feel that Arthur would want to exchange, and I think he would be better on the exchanges mid-range on the inside and stuff. I just think that he has to be careful because, you know, Stevenson's left hand, he'll throw a short left hand that is just as powerful. And if you are too close when you're throwing that jab like Arthur is sometimes, you can get countered with it, you know. But Arthur, unlike Kovalev, I'm more confident in Arthur winning in deep waters than Kovalev against Stevenson. Because Arthur, if he is fighting in a way where he kind of gets what, you know, he's getting the timing right with Stevenson and he's feeling like Stevenson is pretty predictable, I feel like he is going to stay on him, right? And after Stevenson burns out a few amount of rounds or so, I think that's when Arthur will start punishing him with a variety of shots. You know, I think he has much more of an arsenal than Kovalev. You know, Kovalev is good jab, you know, good right hand, good left hook, you know. But I think Beterbiev, mid-range, he's got a full-blown arsenal of punches, you know. And I think he's more aggressive. You know, and I think I still deep, even though Kovalev is a puncher, I think Arthur Beterbiev even hits harder than Kovalev. And I think Arthur would do better at going at the body too. I think once you get past Kovalev's jab and distance, Kovalev is not physically strong. That's why Andre Ward, what he did have success with was he was actually like manhandling him, you know, on the inside. All right, and going to his body. Kovalev don't have an inside game. Even though I don't think Arthur is great long range, I think once he gets in mid range or close range, he's a beast. And once he starts on, once he's on you, it's kind of hard to get him off. So with Stevenson, I think he's dangerous for all three of these guys. But I feel that a lot of them, once they deal, if the longer the fight goes, I think the least Stevenson has a chance of winning. I think Stevenson can catch Arthur Beterbiev with a good shot and possibly drop him like the way Callum Johnson did or Jeff Page Jr. But if Beterbiev gets back up and the fight continues to go, I think Beterbiev stops him late. I think he's going to burn out. Even in his prime, I think Stevenson would have burned out and Beterbiev might have stopped him late. All right. And then if Stevenson were to fight Bivol, again, I still think Bivol would have some issues dealing with Stevenson's distance and his speed. All right. But being that Bivol is by far the best defender, I think he would have been just too smart for Stevenson, you know, and he would have been blocking the majority of those left hands. I actually think Bivol is the most likely to beat Stevenson without as much of a problem. Beterbiev, not as sure. Kovalev, definitely not sure at all. But I feel like Bivol will actually beat him and just be too smart early. You know, I think he might have some issues early on trying to get in. But once he starts getting in and landing some shots, I think he can actually hurt Stevenson and stop him in his prime. Possibly later in the fight. I would pick a decision. I more would lean towards a decision though. You know, but I think Bivol will beat Stevenson. And I think his chances of beating him is a lot more clear than the other two, especially Sergey Kovalev. Kovalev, like I'm really 50-50 on that. Like I can't, if they had fought, that's why they really needed to fight, you know, in their primes. That would have been great if Stevenson and Kovalev fought before Stevenson left HBO. That would have been great. All right. Kovalev and Beterbiev. So there's the angle you can bring up about the amateurs. I believe that Beterbiev beat him twice in the amateurs. Okay. So they have history. I'm not going to base everything on that because I've never seen that. I don't know. You know, I'm not going to base everything off the amateur fight. But I actually think Kovalev has a good chance of winning. I think in the earlier rounds, I think Beterbiev have a major issue with Kovalev's distance and his jab. All right. Kovalev, if he boxes anywhere near similar to how he was against like B-Hop or John Pascal, I think Beterbiev has a lot of trouble with Kovalev. And I also think Kovalev is very capable of hurting Beterbiev. All right. To a point where Bivol might not ever really figure it out. Or he might do what he did against Volstik. And Volstik is not Kovalev. They're two different fighters. I don't smoke Charles. As good as Volstik is, I don't think he's as good as Kovalev when it comes to keeping that distance and keeping that jab out there, you know. But I do think Volstik was a better defender than Kovalev, you know, and I think he was just better at evading shots and stuff and slipping shots and using his upper body to move and head movement. I think he was better than Kovalev at that. The problem is with Kovalev, once Beterbiev closes that gap and starts hitting you at the body, and start making it a more physical fight. If Kovalev is having success controlling the distance early, how long can he keep it going? He has the power to keep Beterbiev cautious. But if there's a point in this fight where Beterbiev can actually close the gap and Kovalev starts to slow down, Kovalev is going to get stopped. All right. He's definitely going to get stopped. It'll just be too much. It's very, very hard for that's another fight that's very, very hard for me to call because I do think Kovalev is capable of hurting anyone on this list. All right, including Beterbiev. I think he's very capable of hurting him too. I like Kovalev's success early, but I like Beterbiev success the longer it goes. And I think Beterbiev will take it late in the fight if they were to fight. All right. I think Kovalev definitely outboxes him. I'm not sure, man. Kovalev looked really great against Andre Ward in that first fight. He looked very, very good. If you watch that fight, he looked very, very good. Very, very good. You know, and I know Beterbiev brings different dangers to Kovalev if they were to fight. He's not Andre Ward, but, you know, Ward just could not get to him. It took so long for Ward. Ward, I feel like the fight only started to change because Kovalev just couldn't keep that same pace going. And he started tired a little bit, you know, and Ward took advantage of that in the second fight. It's a hard one to call, man. I think it's another 50-50. You know, I like what Kovalev really brings when he fought the best fighters that he fought. All right. Kovalev and Bivol. I actually think Kovalev would give Bivol a lot of problems for the same reasons that I've said and with everybody else, but also with what I saw in the Craig Richards fight. Kovalev is going to be harder for Bivol than Canelo was and Zerto because of the jab. You know, let me see here. Let me pull this up. I don't know how much of a so Kovalev doesn't really have a reach advantage over Bivol. You know, they're around the same, they're about the same height and the same. They both listed here at 6'0 with a 72-inch reach. They have Kovalev at 72 and a half. Volstik retired after he lost, but he's supposed to be coming back. But he retired after he lost to Beterbiev. I think Bivol has a lot of issues with Kovalev's jab. Okay. A prime Kovalev is not going to let Bivol just have his way. He's going to be using the jab to keep Bivol out. You know, it's definitely going to be like a very high technical fight. And it's just going to be, it's not going to be the fight that I think people would want to see. It's not going to be an action fight. It's just going to be it's just going to be way too technical. I think Bivol uses the high guard to, you know, to get to Kovalev and counter, you know, once he get in the range, that mid-range. But I think in a war of jabs, because Bivol has a great jab too, Kovalev wins that war, that battle, in my opinion. All right. I just don't feel Bivol as talented as he is. I don't feel like he's gonna look good against Sergey Kovalev in his prime. Trying to get past that jab. But when he figures it out, and I think his greatest strength, or one of his greatest strengths, is that he and Beterbiev probably have way better endurance than Kovalev and Adonis Stevenson does. The pressure is the pressure of Kovalev that's going to make him fall. I think he beats Bivol, I think he's winning on points clear early, first 3 or 4 rounds. But Bivol's going to pick up the pace. All right. And he's going to land some more high eye-catching shots midway through the fight, you know. And I think he's, I don't think Bivol's the best when it comes to the inside fighting neither. I don't think neither one of them are. And that's why I think this is also a 50-50 because Bivol is good at defending and protecting himself. He's very comfortable with being in the pocket, but offensively, he's not a top tier inside fighter, and this is why this was the only reason why I thought Canelo might have had a chance or Zerto might have had a chance. But I think it's going to be a battle of jabs. All right. And just a boxing match, a very technical boxing fight. You hit me, I hit you, I hit you. It's going to be a very close fight. I think it goes to distance, and I can see it going being a split decision type of fight. I think this is like one of the few fights in this whole debate that's actually going to really go to distance, and it probably being the most boring out the two because Kovalev will have to fight an extremely smart fight, and Bivol always fights an extremely smart fight. I just think that Bivol is the better defender, and I think he's the better. I think he has the better gas tank, but I think Kovalev starts the fight out much better. All right, and gives Bivol trouble early. I can see it being a tough decision fight, but I'm expecting a decision win in that fight if that were to ever happen. All right. All right, who else, man? All right, so what's left here? Well, the fights I haven't talked to. Beterbiev. All right, Beterbiev and Bivol. What happens there? I'm picking Bivol. I think as strong as Beterbiev is, I think that Bivol in his defense, and I think that I think he's smarter. I think he's quicker. I think he can capitalize on some of the mistakes that Beterbiev make. I don't think he really hurts him and stops him, but I think he can drop him, catching him with a shot that he didn't see coming. I think Beterbiev is going to definitely pressure him, go to his body, try to physically break him down. Something that Zerto was supposed to do, being that he was the bigger guy, but he just didn't have the skills to match Bivol's talent. I think Beterbiev brings I think the both of them really would really bring the best out of each other, to be honest. But I'm actually more. Let me not say that because I don't want to come off like Beterbiev because I've gone back and forth with Beterbiev and Bivol. I just feel that Bivol is just too smart, and I felt like if Beterbiev, being that Beterbiev is more of a mid-range inside fighter, I think if he had like a long-range jab like the other two do, I think he would have struggled a little bit more. But when it comes to Beterbiev, I think people would be a little shocked at the way Bivol's approach would be, just like they were against when he fought Zerto recently. I think Bivol will surprisingly be standing right in front of him, and I just think he outboxes him. I think he lands more. I think he lands the more effective shots. I don't think that, he can overpower him, but I just feel like Bivol would beat him in a boxing match. If they were to ever, I mean, if they ever were to do it, I can't wait to like really do film study and just look at exactly what I need to see. But I feel like Bivol will take him, But all of these fights are legit fights and fights that would win. Any of these fighters could win. You know, I don't. Even when I look at Beterbiev, I think Volzdik, he beat Stevenson, but Stevenson was definitely past it. You know, I think that if the fight was a little earlier, not trying to take anything away from Volzdik, because he might have beaten a younger Stevenson too, but I think Beterbiev beating Volzdik might be the most impressive light heavyweight win between the three, because Volzdik was undefeated. He was coming off a stoppage win against Adonis Stevenson. He might have been the best light heavyweight. I think on paper, of course, Canelo is the best win. But Volzdik was probably the best win at the time. You know, Stevenson's best win was definitely probably like knocking out Chad Dawson, you know, maybe Tony Bellew. But to be honest, I don't think there's a win there that Stevenson has that I can make an argument that the other guys couldn't achieve. You know, I think, and that's not taking anything away from Stevenson. It's just Beterbiev would beat all of these guys too. You know, Beterbiev having Volzdik on his resume as a win, a stoppage win, undefeated, is just good. You know, the Joe Smith win is good. The Marcus Brown win is good. But that win, this win right here, stands out. He basically retired a very good fighter that was undefeated, who had a good win on his resume. You know, very good fighter. Bivol, obviously, you know, he has a good variety of wins here. John Pascal, Joe Smith Jr. You know, Canelo is the win, obviously. Gilberto Ramirez, who still was kind of unproven at 175. The Canelo win is the biggest win out of them all. But Canelo at 175, I say the Volzdik is the bigger win at 175. All right. And then when it comes to Kovalev, it's a lot of ups and downs here, you know, but he had great wins. He had good wins. All these wins are solid. B-Hop was the first that really made people, you know, but B-Hop was very, very old, and I think he was one fight away from being retired. John Pascal was good, all right? Beat him twice. The Andre Ward fight, they're recorded losses, so I can't give credit to him. Regardless of how I feel, they're recorded losses, all right? But they were very good efforts against a Hall of Famer now. These wins after that, though, lost to Alida Alvarez, but was able to avenge the loss. I think Anthony Yard is still waiting to see what he can actually do, what kind of career he's going to have. But, you know, again, I'm going to give the best win of recorded win against Volzdik for me at 175. All right? At 175. I have to say that. Yeah, so that's how I feel about that. So I'm gonna read some of the comments, and I know you guys been leaving a lot of comments, man, and I just wanted to give you my views. I honestly think that there's no absolute for any of these fights. I think all of these fights are, you can go any way you want with these fights, you know. But I would like to say that if all of these fighters were to face each other, I think my answer to who would have the least amount of, if I had to make a bet, and the bet was, okay, all 4 of these fighters fight each other in their primes, right? Who would reign supreme, as in who would have the least amount of losses? My pick would be Bivol, because I just think he's the smartest out the group. out of all of the fighters there. So I would roll with Bivol. Even if he doesn't beat them all, I think he at least beats 2 of the 4. Everybody else, I'm still unsure of. I think everybody else can possibly lose to the other 3 fighters. You know, I feel like Bivol will come out the most successful. You know, and I think that Stevenson will probably. I see you, Charles. I actually think that Stevenson will probably be the most surprising at the end. You know, Stevenson's going to have a win in there that's going to shock you guys. Because I think that left hand is going to touch somebody's chin out this group. It might even have been Bivol. I don't know. But I think if that were to really actually happen, it's not going to ever happen. But I think if it did happen, I think Stevenson pulls a win out of there somewhere. And it's going to be someone we probably didn't expect. You know? Charles said, taking Prime Crusher 4-0. Yeah, so MAW said Wilder better Lee Scott other than JDS, in my opinion. Oh, I don't know. You guys are talking about Wilder. You guys talking about Wilder. Yeah, MAW obviously Beterbiev will try to get inside while Bivol look to pick him apart outside. Yeah, I mean, he would definitely do that. You know, I think Beterbiev is going to try to get on the inside of everybody. You know, I think that's in the mid-range, you know, close range. I think that's where he wants to be, you know. Isan says Bivol beats all 3. Beterbiev loses to Stevenson. And Bivol beats Kovalev, beats Stevenson, loses to Bivol. This is a mess. It's a lot of comments, but I got you on the beginning. He said Bivol beats all 3. All right. Beterbiev loses to Stevenson. Okay. All right. I got you. Exponent says, I think Bivol beats Kovalev. I think, I'm not sure about it, but I will lead towards Bivol. But I'm not sure. I think Kovalev gives him hell. Thank you, Edgar. Appreciate that. You know, look, go back into that Andre Ward fight with Kovalev, man. That first fight, that first half of that fight, Kovalev was very good. You can't sleep on that dude. You know, can't sleep on that dude. That dude is good. He was really, really good. Boxingwave, how would have Ward and Stevenson played out? Good question. That's another fight that I feel like I think Ward would have had trouble with Stevenson, man. You know, again, you know, if Ward played the fight like the way he played the Kovalev fight, you know, and just, you know, wait until like 4 or 5 rounds in before to start really picking it up, I think Ward can get in there and you know, be very physical and possibly hurt Stevenson and outwork Stevenson in the second half. But I can see Ward getting caught. You know, I never thought that was an easy fight for Andre Ward even back then. And to be honest, you know, I don't think Ward was interested in that fight. I low-key think Ward ducked him. I low-key believe that because it's just the way, you know, there was an article I read and Ward was basically just kind of dismissing Adonis Stevenson as if he was like, yo, I've never been interested in a fight. You know, and this is like Ward after or maybe around the time he fought Kovalev. And I was like, well, why would you not want that fight? You'll be undisputed. It's only one belt. And I remember making content on this back then. I have videos that's still up today talking about Andre Ward and what is he going to do. And there's articles of him saying like, I'm not really interested in fighting Stevenson. Like, he's not on my radar. You know, I'm not interested in him. He's not a guy that I think about. And then he retired. You know, he retired after the Kovalev fight, and that was it. So I don't really know what to say to that. It's like, you know, it's not like you don't know we're talking about it. You know, the boxing community is talking about the fight. You beat Kovalev. I mean, yeah, people might be upset at the way that those Kovalev fights played out, but you know, it's still a fight. It's a legacy fight. It's a fight that people are interested in, you know. But he kept saying that he wasn't interested in it. I mean, listen, it's his career. He still became a Hall of Famer at the end of the day. And I posted a link just in case if anyone wanted to join the chat. It's in the comments. But yeah, it's kind of disappointing that Ward didn't take that fight, you know. But I don't think it was an easy fight for Ward at all. You know, and I think going to hell, you going to life and death with Kovalev, you know, especially in that first fight, maybe Ward just didn't want to take the risk. I don't know. You know? Look, you can't see Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson and Bivol would never happen.
What's up, Wave? Respect.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Good. Everything good. I've been a fan of the channel for years. I know you've been in Harlem and then moved and everything. I've been rolling with you, fam.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it, man. What's your thoughts on this whole thing? How do you feel like these fights, how they would go down and all that?
Yeah, so I was listening to you. I was listening to you said Bivol, Kovalev, Stevenson, and who was the last one?
Beterbiev.
Beterbiev. Yeah, man. Okay, so Beterbiev.
Like, who you think, who do you think, if they all were to fight each other, who do you think would have the least amount of losses? If they all had to fight each other in their prime.
In their prime?
Yeah.
In their prime is between that's the set. It's crazy. In a prime, it's Bivol, Beterbiev, and then Stevenson at the same time. That's the crazy part about your question. Because Stevenson can knock you out with one punch out of nowhere.
Right.
He almost like a Wilder. That's why I said Wilder earlier. Mm-hmm. He almost like a Wilder. He could finish any fight. Mm-hmm. So can Beterbiev. Bivol could just simply beat you. And Kovalev in his prime, he was finishing every fight. So it's hard to pick between them, but I will agree with you that I'll have to go with Bivol because he is the smarter fighter out of all of them. He's the boxer out of all of them. Everybody else kind of depends on their power. He does it. He's coming straight up with skills and ability and mobility. Beterbiev is also very good at that, but he's not as good at it as Bivol. Bivol's the only one that has an enduring quality.
Right. Yeah, that's why I felt like it was kind of the safe pick because
yes,
everybody, I felt like they're all good, and I think the styles. Like, I think if anybody's gonna get an early stoppage, I think Stevenson wins by early stoppages because he had that one punch that's like crazy, And I felt like if anybody stops you late, I think, Beterbiev had the chance of just beating you up to a point where he's just gonna stop you. Then I thought
Kovalev was the stop you late guy.
He could be too, but he could be the outbox you guy too. I mean,
yeah, that's why I said he would stop you late because he could outbox you, but he got so much power that as he's hitting you later on in the fight, he's doing so much damage that he knocks you out. I
He
think
might.
Beterbiev does so much damage immediately that he might be the middle rounds guy.
Right.
And
He also could
Stevenson,
be the early guy though too.
yeah, he can. He can.
Yeah.
He could also be the early guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my bad about that wave. I typed that. I copy and pasted it, so it came up kind of weird on YouTube when I put that. But I can just tell you if you want me to. My pick.
Yeah, no, go ahead, say it.
Yeah. So all right. So I think like I said, I think Bivol beats all of them. I think Beterbiev loses to Stevenson. I agree. I like Artur, but I think he'd get caught with something at some point in that fight. Yeah, I think he beats Stevenson. He loses Stevenson, loses to Bivol, but he beats Kovalev. I think Kovalev beats Adonis. Kovalev loses to Bivol and Beterbiev. Stevenson loses to Bivol and Kovalev, but he beats Beterbiev. I think he clips him. The only ones I'm not super confident on are Beterbiev, Bivol, and Stevenson, Kovalev. Those are the two that I'm not super confident on, though.
I actually think
that was a good breakdown. I like that.
Yeah, no, it's good.
That was real good.
I was listening to you. I was like, let me, because when you remember the other day when you put it, I was like, oh yeah, that's actually a good question, and so I kind of went more into it. I was like, all right, this is how I think that it would go. I think Bivol outboxes everybody. I think he could probably clip Adonis late because he would get so tired that I can just see like an exhaustion kind of like, accumulation stoppage. But I probably lean toward Bivol decisioning everybody.
I like what he said.
I think Kovalev is going to be a hard fight for Bivol. I actually believe that. I think Bivol will learn how. I think Bivol will learn how to handle Stevenson.
Oh yeah, early too. Early.
Yeah,
Early.
I think Stevenson being limited would hurt him in that fight. Not so much with Beterbiev and Kovalev, but for that fight against Bivol, I think he looks the weakest in that fight. But
can I ask something?
Yeah.
What do y'all think is a harder fight for Stevenson, Kovalev or Beterbiev? Like actually, I think Stevenson has a better chance of knocking out Artur because Artur's gonna really come at him hard. But I think that's actually a tougher fight for Adonis too, because like with Kovalev, like you said, you might get outboxed and hit with something, but if Artur was to get to him, I'm like, oh man, that even if he does knock him out, it's like you're gonna take some kind of punishment.
I've gotta go with Beterbiev. I think he'll knock out Beterbiev easier, only because he's a southpaw, and southpaws have a PhD. By the time they get to the professionals, they have a PhD in fighting orthodox fighters. So Stevenson, there's nothing that Beterbiev could show Stevenson that he's never seen before. Stevenson's seen them all, been through them all, knocked them out. He's seasoned. Beterbiev ain't no joke. We all know who Beterbiev is. But as far as being surprised and being caught off guard, there's no way in the world. Stevenson has seen them all and he's caught them all. When you're a southpaw at an elite level, you're better than most fighters in the world.
The question is Stevenson against Kovalev or
I'm asking which you think is a tougher fight to him, like for Stevenson, Kovalev or Beterbiev?
I would think Kovalev is a tougher fight. Beterbiev will catch him. He'll catch Beterbiev quicker.
Yeah, I agree.
Kovalev is definitely a tougher fight.
I agree with that. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
I think like if the fight goes to distance, I don't think Stevenson beats Kovalev on points. But I think even though Beterbiev is more dangerous, I feel like he's more dangerous. He's more willing to probably get knocked out by Stevenson too.
Yeah,
it's like a trade-off. Like I felt like those two. I mean, Kovalev's power is crazy. So because I feel like I'm downplaying his power, but I'm only downplaying it because
he's a damn good boxer.
Is one punch, and Beterbiev is crazy power in both hands. Like he's like a bully type of fighter. So I feel that it's a trade-off, like kind of.
Yeah,
one of them is getting knocked. That's the one fight that's like absolutely not going to distance.
Yeah,
but the only problem with that fight is that it's a classic fight in the sense that you have a one-punch knockout fighter, fighting a fighter with power in both hands.
Yeah.
You typically in that case, the one punch knockout fighter knocks out the fighter with power in both hands because he delivers faster. He has a better delivery system. Ernie Shavers, was it Ken Norton, right?
Yeah.
So that's what typically happens. What typically happens is the Deontay Wilder knocks out the Vladimir Klitschko. That's what typically happens. But we know there's experience levels and this and that.
But Vlad,
Vlad, I'm just throwing an example out there.
Sometimes that left
don't
hook
take
could
me,
be,
don't take me,
I know
you know what I'm saying.
Because it's like if you need if you need to land multiple punches on a guy to really break him down, like Artur, he doesn't need that many, but he needs a good sequence of shots because he doesn't really load up.
He needs two or three, and he got you.
And you know with that freak of nature, he just like lets them flow. He doesn't have to load up, so it's like you get three or four, you're probably done.
But that takes longer than the one.
And you're open. Boom. And Artur likes those short shots, so he's gonna be right up on Adonis. But he might smother the left hand. But I'm like, if he gets hit with it on the way in, he's done for. Like I think that's the most. Like,
I can see Artur getting hit on the way in, man.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
That's how Callum Johnson got him. Like, and that's the thing with Artur. He be doing the exchanges sometimes, and I mean,
he does the Amir Khan.
He leaves himself. He's not as perfect as we think he is.
Yeah,
he does leave himself open. He can get hit, and if he get hit by an Adonis Stevenson, Kovalev, square on.
Because Adonis's left hand, it's like
Adonis' left hand is different.
It was
Adonis' left hand, it is a little wilder-ish. It's wilder-ish. So that's where you got to say that one punch speed A to B punch causes the best and quickest knockout. That could be it. You could have all the power in the world, but he could just short circuit you.
How about Beterbiev versus Kovalev? That's a little bit of I think Artur beats him because of physicality. It's like Ward said, Kovalev's a strong puncher, but he's not actually like a strong guy. And I think there would become a point where he, that gas tank too. I lean more towards Artur stopping him late in that fight, in my opinion.
What do you think about that, Wave? What do you think about that, Wave?
Artur and who?
Kovalev. I think Artur would get him late.
Yeah, I think Artur would probably get him late, and because Kovalev has shown to kind of fade a little bit in the later rounds, and I think that physicality of like Artur just too strong, and him going to his body. That's the main part that I'm worried about. Kovalev, I think Kovalev's going to do a good job early, especially with the jab, and just keeping that range. Like, he's good at that. That's what he's doing. But I don't like the fact that Kovalev, like it's not strong on the inside at all. I mean, even from a defensive standpoint, like, you
make a real
Bivol is not like on the inside. He don't have much of an inside game, but he knows how to defend himself very well on the inside. And he, he can take the body shots that like Canelo and Zerto was just doing. The body was there to hit, but he was taking them, he was eating up, and that high guard, he was blocking the majority. He wasn't letting these guys punch through his guard. Yeah. Now I understand that Beterbiev might be a little bit more powerful and stuff like that, but I trust his inside game. Whereas Kovalev, it seems like whenever he's losing,
he falls apart.
Like he's getting like beat up, like he roughed up, like
I'll agree with you. Listen, Wade, I was going to try to sit here and argue with you. Maybe I still try to sit here and argue with you. But when you started saying what you were saying about the body work and all of that, it kind of made me have to agree. But I'm gonna still try to put in my old point. The old point is, listen, the
low blows.
No.
Oh.
Our whole conversation was about them in their prime. Everything y'all saying is about Kovalev out of his prime. If you remember, hold on. If you remember Kovalev in his prime, as soon as he landed his right hand, the fight was over. Every single fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was the crusher for a reason.
No, he was.
He was really. Every time he hit something, it was over. The fight was gone, man. And the way he kept his distance and his boxing skills, we found out that he did know how to box. He wasn't just some Eastern European that was stiff and stupid. He did know how to move and keep his distance and range and understood range. And he would land the right hand and he would put people to sleep, man.
Yeah, so, he was actually. I think he even dropped. I think he even dropped Hopkins with a hook in that fight.
Yeah, yes, he did.
Yep.
Yeah. The guy was really a problem in his prime. Now, after his prime, we see a lot of flaws. But in his prime, I don't know, man. Kovalev was a bad boy.
I think he had the same flaws.
But that's why I wanted to make this video. That's why I wanted to make this video, because when people bring them up, they dismiss them like, nah, these two are way better than those two. You know, I read a lot of comments like that.
You know?
Yeah, that's like saying, oh, Cotto is way better than everybody. Cotto is not as good as Canelo, or Cotto is not as good as this one or that one. You don't remember Cotto when he was ripping through the world and taking over the world. Cotto was doing a lot of bad things. People always want to say, you know,
because they remember you as they last seen you.
Exactly. The people, they got amnesia. They don't realize that there was a time when this motherfucker was champion of the world, was taking over and doing everything, really on top, fighting the top fighters. And now you want to just relegate them to the past. No, man, we got to remember everybody.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
You know,
yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. I think, you know, at this point, I mean, obviously it's no way we will ever know, because these guys are never going to fight. I'm really hoping that Beterbiev and Bivol actually fight, you know, but do you guys feel that Yard has a chance against Beterbiev?
He has a chance to do better than Joe Smith did.
Yeah, he will.
I agree. I think he does better than him and Marcus Brown.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know if he does better than Marcus Brown. I
think he does better than Marcus Brown, on the sense that he's actually going to fight with Beterbiev.
I don't think he is. I don't think he's going to fight with Beterbiev.
Marcus didn't really fight that much. It was more like his defense was good and just like staying out of range and stuff and just moving. But Marcus didn't really let his hands go like the way, you know, I think he needed to actually to win those rounds.
Yeah, no.
Well, Joe just went straight and just
Joe just kind of messed up.
And Joe was so offensive. He was throwing his jab from way too close, and that's what kept getting him counted.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
literally.
I think the moment got to Joe. I think we all can agree the moment got to Joe.
Yeah, Artur had already been there. He'd already been there before.
Beterbiev been fighting all over the world for his whole life since he was a kid. Beterbiev is a monster, but I think Yard will do better, but I do not expect him to be more than 2 rounds of offense. I do not expect him to have more than 2 rounds of offense, maybe even less. Yeah. And why do I say that? I say that because I know how a fighter is supposed to be brought up, and the way Yard was brought up is the opposite way of how a fighter is supposed to be brought up. He's fighting 50-1, like 1 in 50 on his like 14th fight or something. Like,
one time
it's disgusting.
And one time a year. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. He was offered a fight with Buatsi early this year, and people don't talk about it. And they said no because and this was even before
I wanted to see that fight.
And this was before the Joe Smith fight for Artur was even made. And Frank was saying, "Oh, he's a mandatory. We're gonna wait for him. We're gonna wait out."
Yeah.
And bro, the Beterbiev Smith fight was not even made yet.
You know what that tells me? You know what that tells me? All of that foolishness with his resume. All that foolishness with his resume, it tells me the same thing it told me about Wilder's resume. I used to compare the two. I used to say that Wilder and Yard was the same person. So what it tells me is, that was maybe 3-4 years ago. But anyway, what it tells me is you've never been hit by a real elite fighter. A real elite fighter has never punched you. I promise you, a real elite fighter has never even hit you in sparring. So
Yard fought Kovalev
when you in the ring, when you get in the ring with Artur Beterbiev,
yeah, and the fact that Yard Well, the one good thing about, because I don't think Yard
With little
Yard is,
gloves on,
yeah,
little gloves on in the ring with Arthur Beterbiev. Yeah, tell me all about it.
I don't think Yard is going to win the fight, but what I do think is good is that the experience in those 2 losses that he had, I think his chances is better now than what they would have been a few years ago if this fight were to really have happened. That gap between the fighters that he fought before Kovalev and Sergey Kovalev, even at that point of Sergey Kovalev, was terrible. Like, it was just
but Wave.
Yo,
This is what I'm giving. This is what I'm giving you, Wave. I'm giving you Charlo versus Canelo. I'm giving you Yard versus Beterbiev. Who you think got a better chance of coming out with a victory? Let's go. That's a hard question, fam.
Charlo versus Canelo now, or Beterbiev
versus
I'll say Yard.
You say Yard.
Yeah,
because Yard has a puncher's chance at least a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think Jamal is gonna beat Canelo.
I never thought he had
I don't think he's gonna beat him either. But that's how bad the situation is. I gave you a good comparison right there. To be honest with you, I gave you a good even to even. You had to think about it for a second.
Nah, I don't think. I think Charlo had a good chance of beating Canelo at 154. Not now.
Oh yeah, 154 much better.
Yeah, not now.
Yeah, I mean,
Once Canelo hit 160, I was like, nah.
Because Charlo, the thing is,
once he beat
Charlo
Jacobs,
was way better at 154 to me. I just think,
I think he's regressed over the past years.
I don't think he was way better.
Look at it. Look at his career since 154, and that will tell you why he's gotten worse.
But that's only because of the opposition. Really, look at 154 as a division was a lot smaller.
The outside stuff too. A lot of outside distractions that can really affect.
I agree with that, but I'm saying look at the divisions. The spotlight, like 154 was a way smaller division. Not as much spotlight on it. It wasn't as serious as when you get to 160. 160, you got to fight the big boys, or you gonna sit alone at home. He's been sitting alone at home his whole entire career at 160.
Yeah,
Jamal just fought my cousin.
He ain't come outside to play. Yeah,
he 154. He fought, at least he had fought J Rock and Trout. You know what I'm saying?
Trout, yeah.
You know, when he moved up to 160, it just got bad. You know,
it got real bad.
Like Highland, Centeno, Korobov, who many people felt like, you know, could have won that fight.
I thought he won that fight.
Brandon Adams, Dennis Hogan. The Deverenchenko fight, I liked that fight. That was a good fight. But that was pretty much it. The Montiel fight, that last fight was,
he almost died in it.
Yeah.
Dude, he's been out the ring for a year after the Montiel fight. What?
Yo, come on. And now you think you're gonna make it against Carlos Adames? That's not gonna happen. Carlos Adames is gonna knock him out.
Nah, I don't know about that.
Carlos,
I don't know if he's gonna knock him out.
He's not gonna walk in. Listen, he's not gonna walk into the ring right now cold out of nothing.
Yeah,
fight Carlos Adames and beat him. Carlos Adames is gonna knock him out. Look at how Carlos Adames fights.
He can't fight him right now.
If he's not gonna fight him cold,
he can't fight him first.
Adames will knock him out. He can't fight him first fight, but I believe they mandated it.
No, they didn't. That's what's shocking. Nope, they didn't.
No, look it up. Don't take my word for it, but I believe they.
No, he's the mandatory, but they haven't mandated.
Oh, they didn't mandate the fight, but they made him mandatory.
It's strange.
Okay, no, my mistake.
No, he's been the mandatory for a while actually, which is strange. I think they're protecting Jamal from him too.
Of course, because they trying to protect the PBC the best they can. But if they mandate that fight, it's over with. It's just like certain fights, you know who going to win and who going to lose the fight immediately. Like I heard Callum Smith versus Joshua Buatsi. I said they better not put Buatsi in that ring with Callum Smith. Callum Smith going to knock him out.
Mm-hmm.
I believe on the low, and this is my little controversy.
I feel like Callum Smith is going to knock him out too.
Yeah, Callum Smith is going to destroy him.
That
left hook is going to kill Buatsi.
But let me get into
and I
my.
like Joshua Buatsi a lot, but I don't want him to fight Callum Smith right
Yeah,
now.
I don't want him to either.
Man,
I
listen,
think on the low, I think Callum Smith on the low. I think Callum Smith might be the most dangerous fighter at 175 on the low.
I think
People,
he beats
y'all may not agree. Yeah, of course he'll beat Zotto.
I've been wanting that fight. I wanted that
He'll
fight before
destroy
Zotto fought
Zotto.
Canelo.
Yeah, I think he'll
Oh
beat
my
Zerto
God,
too,
he'll
yeah.
destroy
Man,
Zotto. He'll knock him out.
You know, I
Come
never
on.
thought Zerto was that good to begin with, but I was just so surprised at how
Boxing
he's like,
Gyms. What's up, bro?
Wait, what up, bro? What's good with you, fam?
How you doing?
Chilling. What you think about this topic of today?
Nah, I've been listening to the whole thing, fam. I think it's a good discussion, bro.
Yeah, no,
I'll let you have it on the fantasy fights between them light heavyweights.
Yeah, man, it's just the disrespect. Tough. I had to do a video because it's just the way people talk about Kovalev. Like he wasn't like, you know, and Stevenson too. Like they were just like some trash fighters at light heavy. Do you think Bivol beats them both or?
Yeah, I got Bivol over all of them, fam. But all of them could clip him. So, but man, how do you call Kovalev trash? And he had a very, very competitive fight with a Hall of Famer.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I don't know. I think you know, people just like we was just saying a minute ago. I think people just kind of forget once these guys lose and getting beaten, you know, they're like, oh, they overrated. You know, Kovalev was an every pound for pound list at one point. Like him and Golovkin, they was like right behind Floyd, Manny Pacquiao at one point. Like, I don't know why everybody, it just kind of is that way, you know?
Before he got stopped, bro, he was outboxing Canelo, and that was after 35 days from the yard fight, bro. So, I mean,
I hated the way that fight. I really hated the way that fight happened because I think that Kovalev would have beaten Canelo if it was like a legit 175. Like if Canelo had moved up and dude was still undefeated, it would have never been as competitive as it was.
Right. I mean, Wave. You know, I'll do you one better. If it was that same, let's say Kovalev had a full training camp at the same time he fought Canelo, he would have beat him. I think he would have beat him. Because even though he didn't have a good punch resistance, he was up like 9.
Wait, who would have beat who?
Wait, by the way, real quick, Eastside, Hyam, what's good with y'all, bro?
What's up, man?
What's going on, fam? Respect.
No, I was saying that
go ahead, what you were saying, fam.
If Kovalev had a full training camp, he would have beat Canelo when they fought in 2019, I think.
I don't know. I think Kovalev was just washed at that point.
No, he was, but he was winning that fight clear up to that stoppage.
He was doing good, but he wasn't doing anything different. He was doing the same thing over and over again. You can't do that against a Canelo. You know what I'm saying? He was winning rounds, but you can't do that.
Rounds, then that matter.
No, it does matter because you fighting an elite fighter. Sooner or later, they're going to pick up on what you're doing. They're going to hurt you if you keep doing the same thing.
Yeah, facts. An elite
you know how that goes.
An elite counterpuncher, especially.
You know.
I
I hear what you're saying. Like he was winning rounds and he was looking good.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
He wasn't doing enough to keep this wolf at bay. He was just enticing him more and more, and so sooner or later he ran out of gas. A little while ago, I ain't gonna front. Kovalev a pretty big dude. A little while ago, I walked right up to him face to face. Saw him in New York at the Lomachenko versus Comey fight. I walked right up to Lomachenko at Madison Square Garden. I was like standing maybe 3 feet away from him. He got some size on him. Him, Usyk, Fury, everybody was there. Bob Arum, everybody was there. He got some size on him or whatever. Me and my man, we just ended up walking up on Kovalev.
My thing is, bro, 4 weeks is not good enough to train for Canelo, especially after a grueling fight like with Anthony
Yard.
And not only that,
really 4 weeks? Was it really 4 weeks?
35 days, fam.
Yo, not only
that.
Yeah,
I got to give you respect on that then.
Not only that, but there was.
I knew it was short, but I remember
a hydration clause to that fight too.
It was.
Yeah,
on a guy who was.
I forgot about that.
It was the same day weigh-in as well. So this dude.
Yeah, so he caught him. He
had no power in that fight.
That's a super asterisk fight in my opinion.
All he did in that fight was just fend them off with the jab, and that's it. He didn't put no power down.
Exactly.
Yo, the Kovalev in the Yard fight was a totally different person.
Even though he almost got stopped there too, Yard is Yard. He was hitting him with some big shit. Canelo's not hit like that, and it's like not having a full camp and coming off a brutal fight like that, and we already know Kovalev's weight issues anyways too, and the rehydration. It's no wonder why dude looked so flat in that fight, and his punch resistance was worse.
Shit, that's the only chance Yard
got.
got.
I gotta keep it a buck. Y'all,
all he has is he better hope he just hits Artur with something huge. But
I see a uppercut. I see one of them roll uppercuts that might be able to do it for him. But if that don't do it for him, he about to get
that Philly shell, man.
Man, gonna look like Beterbiev. Gonna look like King Kong and that motherfucker.
Gems.
Panning on this nigga. What?
That shoulder roll is about to get the left side of his ribs cracked up by that right hand, bro. His ribs are gonna be broken.
Wave. I got a question for you. Check this out. We was all disappointed. We all thought that Zerto was going to do something against Bivol. So we thought we expected a fight. We at least expected a fight, right? All the boxing fans, we expected a fight. We expected something to happen, right?
Right.
So we was disappointed. So my question to you and to the panel is, what if Plant Benavidez is exactly the same?
In what way though would it?
I'm saying Plant dances around Benavidez and makes him look like a fucking fool. Sorry for the language.
Well, that's definitely not.
That's different. I mean, all right.
The same exact way. Where it's a dull fight and Zerto just standing there looking
the circumstances
stupid.
is different because Bivol has already done in his what Bivol. I'm not even talking Canelo. What Bivol has done at 175 alone trumps what those two did at 168
combined.
Right, combined.
So I'm not even talking about
all of them. Even Callum.
When Bivol schooled this dude, it was more like, well, we saw what he did to Canelo, so I ain't really shocked. The only thing that he had in this fight here is that he's a bigger guy. But every other advantage I give to Canelo, and Canelo did better in the fight, in my opinion, than Zerto.
Shit, I called it, fam. I called it in the
I
film
did too.
study,
I made good
right,
money.
You did too, right? Facts.
Yeah, this dude.
Facts, I saw your breakdown.
Yo, this dude, Plant. That the knockout of Darrell was crazy. I wasn't expecting that. Like that was crazy.
Damn, fam, I was glitching for a second. My bad, fam. Can y'all hear me?
But I hear you. You good. What's this guy name? Both of those guys, they need this win. They need this fight should have happened before because it would have at least let me know how good they are. I still don't really know how good Plant is, and I don't know how good Benavidez is. I mean,
who you going for?
I'm not really going for nobody. I always thought Benavidez was going to win the fight, but I'm not sure like that now after seeing that knockout recently. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna front. Before I was like, yo, Benavidez is gonna smoke this dude's boots. But now I'm like, yeah, I don't know, because what if Benavidez is like a Zerto and Plant makes him look that way? Like, it won't be the most shocking thing, but it can happen. It's a possibility. I'm still leaning towards Benavidez though.
I want to know why nobody criticized Benavidez the way they criticize Ryan Garcia. It's the same garbage.
What you mean?
What I mean is they both got this amazing hand speed, but they both got their chins in the air at all times, right? When you watch them fight, don't they both look at the Porky Medina beautiful combination? That's the only reason why we love David Benavidez is because we saw that beautiful combination, right? But his chin is sitting in the air the whole time. When he fights an elite fighter and they buckle up and punch with him and throw a left hook after they catch it on their arms and throw a left hook and knock him the hell out, what happens then?
I mean, if it happens, yeah, bro.
I think Ryan Garcia got a few more problems than David Benavidez, though.
No, I don't. No, you can't even say that because they fought. Ryan Garcia fought higher level competition than David Benavidez.
Nah, I agree. I'm just looking at the skill set, the strengths, and the weaknesses.
Yeah,
I mean, Ryan Garcia.
what skill set do you see? What skill set do you see from David Benavidez? The way he fights, he shows no skill set whatsoever. David Benavidez shows
that's kind
no
of
skill
harsh,
set whatsoever.
ain't it?
Nah, I don't agree.
No. What I'm saying is, I'm not saying that the guy is not good. I'm not saying he's not a good fighter. What I'm saying is, look at his actual fighting style. What skill set does he show? Does he slip punches and come back with counters? Does he pull back with left hooks? Does he jump in with jabs? Does he slip right uppercuts? What does he do?
I mean, okay, so
I'm
that's
just
what
being
you call,
honest.
But that's what you call skills.
Yeah, because if you
But I
want
mean,
to go
all
to
of
skill
the
set,
skills, bro.
no, but
Yeah, but
I'm not discounting nobody's skills. What I'm saying is, when you talk about boxing and we say, oh, somebody got a skill set, they got a skill set. It's not Deontay Wilder, right?
Of course not.
It's not David Lemieux, right?
Yeah, but the things you just say, you're speaking specifically towards slick fighters. He's not a slick fighter.
No. I'm not saying it towards.
That doesn't mean he's not a good, like, he's more of a pressure fighter. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying towards specific fighters. I'm saying, do you have the skill set? Is there actual skills there, or are you just a guy in there throwing punches? See, we had a question of Chris Eubank.
Is he making boxing moves? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. Chris Eubank Jr., Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Is there skill set, or is there just a guy in there throwing punches?
Well, I'm gonna let you know when I make this film.
You see what I'm saying? You got to ask yourself this question, though.
So you don't feel that he has any skills? We talking about Benavidez right now.
Yeah, I'm not saying that he don't have any skills. I'm saying when you really look at it, because what we trying to do as boxing fans, we trying to eliminate our exposure. We don't want to say, oh, this guy's a good fighter, this guy's going to beat this guy, blah, 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 and then we get it all wrong. We want to at least be able to say that we know enough about boxing that we could see the skill set and we could say that this fighter A is better than this fighter B. So when we look at them, we want to see actual skills. When you look at David Benavidez, besides quick hand speed, what skills do you actually see from the man? But that's a good question.
I think me and Wave, you know what I'm saying, we always wait till the film studies, fam. I mean,
I hear you with that.
And not only that,
I was asking you as a regular boxing fan. I was asking you as like a regular boxing fan.
So let me say this. You know? The problem I have with David specifically is that he hasn't had that fight yet. That made me say, wow, he beat Darrell, which is cool. It's a solid win. I'm not trying to take anything from the win. It's a good win, but that's all I'm basing it. Porky Medina, not enough. Like, it's a good win, but those are the fights you were supposed to take when he took them. But since then, there hasn't been no upgrade in anybody he's fighting. Half of it has to do with it being his fault. Half of it has to do with him not getting PBC not securing a plant fight earlier when we were asking for it. But Canelo came through. He came up there. He stole all the belts. And guess what? None of those dudes at 168 fought each other. Canelo came up there, swooped all the belts. David lost on the scales or on the like drugs or whatever. And then he lost his title 2 times. That left us not knowing. All we know is that he looks good in the guys that he's currently facing. But I think after the plant fight, I think all the questions are going to be answered right there.
I agree with you 100%.
Look, and me personally, fam, when I watch fights just to watch fights, I don't put skill sets into the memory bank unless I'm impressed by something. And David Benavidez hasn't exactly impressed me. But and what I have noticed is every fight I watch, it seems like he ends up on the ropes in that high guard, just taking punishment, including against Lemieux, which is a smaller fighter. So, but the film study gonna tell me that everything else. You know what I'm saying? Why did he end up on the ropes? Why does he always do this? Why does he always do that? But nah, I haven't like saved David Benavidez skill set. You know what I'm saying? If somebody impressed me, yeah, I will.
I respect what you're saying, brother. I respect what you're saying.
Real quick though, I'm gonna just say this too. David, if he's not as good as like for the people that feel that like Canelo been ducking him all this time, or Plant was ducking him all this time, if he don't show up that night, that's all on him. Because like all this time, you've been kind of like, you people trying to give you that reputation of being some sort of boogeyman at 168. If you don't show up that night against Plant, who's coming off one of his best performances, it's not going to be a good look for you, brother. It's not just going to be a loss.
I'll tell you what.
Be an exposure.
It's going to be exposure. Yeah, exactly.
Wait, bro, I tell you what, you do not want to be no goddamn boogeyman, man. That is not the title you want to hold in boxing, fam. Because you're just not going to get the fights.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true as well.
That's true.
But I would say that Benavidez, he's shown very little. We how we measure a elite fighter or whatever is we measure them both ways. We measure them, do they have the resume and everything, and then we measure what's the skills that they've actually shown us in the ring, what the actual skills are, and then we measure it out, and then we could find out if you're an elite fighter or not, right? So he's shown some skills in the ring, but against the opposition, you can't really say, oh, for sure, right? So with the skills that he's shown, has he ever shown a pull counter and a pivot out of the pocket right after the pull counter? Has he ever done anything like that? I've never seen him do anything like that. This is what I'm talking about.
I hear
you.
Yeah.
I can't remember him doing that either.
Yo, listen, I'm talking about that actual boxing, that real shit, like what we really pay attention to, what we really about on a boxing channel. Like what's for real. He's never done nothing like that. So when you get in there with a slick boxer that's all about that, I expect you to get exposed. And I'm telling you, I'm gonna come back to you, Wave. I'm gonna pop my shit if you choose to. I'm gonna come back to you and I'm gonna bet you 200, 500 on Plant versus Benavidez. I'm gonna come back to you and bet with you. And I'm a person that pay. I'm in your neighborhood. I'm somewhere around you somewhere. We both in New York. I ain't gonna front on you. I'm gonna pay you because I'm waiting to see these fighters exposed. I got a problem. I got a problem with with weight bullies in the sport. I'm tired of them. I hate them. I want them to get out the sport. So Benavidez, he's on the list.
I got you, fam. Look, so now somebody I am familiar with is Plant. I know all about his game.
Yeah.
And what I've always said about Plant Benavidez is, Plant cannot gas in them championship rounds.
Yeah.
He can't do it. If he gasses,
right.
he might be out of there. You know what I'm saying? So I think the bet was always Plant by decision, hedge with Benavidez by knockout.
I thought the fight was going to go Sergio Martinez versus Chavez Jr. I always thought the fight was going to go Sergio Martinez versus Chavez. I thought at the very end,
you thought Plant
Benavidez was going to mess up. Benavidez was going to take over in the very end, the last round type thing. Drop Plant type thing like that. You know what I'm saying? I thought something like that, like Joseph Parker, Dylan White, something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear you. Nah, I'm definitely. I mean, I'm sure Wave gonna have a breakdown after his film studies, and I'm gonna make the video.
Yeah, so. I'm. What do you guys feel about? Because you was bringing up Ryan Garcia before.
Yeah.
If he were to fight Tank, I'm assuming you think Tank is gonna knock him out, right?
No, I'm not. At first, of course, I thought that when they first started talking about the fight, that was like 3 years ago. Of course, I thought Tank was going to knock him out. Now, not. I think that's a 50-50 fight. I don't know now. Now, Ryan is too big, too fast, a little bit more experienced at high level than Tank at this point, in my opinion. And Tank is starting to dwindle. He's starting to decline when all that PBC BS that's going on over there. So I think Ryan might be able to catch him with a left hook, a left hook he don't see, and put him down.
Well, I don't think Ryan Garcia has fought anybody as good as Prime Pedraza.
I can't say
I
that's
agree.
prime Pedraza. I agree with that statement. Don't get it
Well,
twisted.
undefeated.
But
Yeah.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
think Luke Campbell's better than Prime Pedraza.
I think styles make fights. I think that fight was style made for style was tailor made for Tank. I think Ryan Garcia is a little bit of a problem, fam.
Look, the problem with Ryan Garcia, fam, is he doesn't know how to fight in the open stance that well. So, versus southpaws. He did show some improvement versus what's my man's name?
Wait a minute, you said versus southpaws?
Yeah.
But he's a killer against southpaws. He beats everybody he beats is southpaws. He's a southpaw killer. Ryan Garcia.
I'm talking about. So now we get back to the skill set though, and the strengths and weaknesses. So what Ryan Garcia does is he ignores lead foot dominance in the open stance. Anybody that ignores that has the potential to get caught by an ugly backhand. And Tank definitely got a nice step back game, and he definitely got an ugly backhand.
But when you say ignore that, that's a tricky statement. Ignore could be I step right over your foot and punch you dead in your face, or ignore could be I'm not paying attention to where my foot is.
He's not paying attention to where his foot is, bro. I mean, it happened against Luke Campbell.
But he's beating every southpaw he's fought.
I understand that, but he also got dropped. So, and Luke Campbell don't punch like Tank Davis.
I understand that as well.
He also got touched doing the same thing versus Fortuna, and Fortuna don't punch like Tank Davis.
I understand that as well. But let's call a spade. He's getting more experience than Tank Davis is getting at a higher level, and he's getting faster and better when it's shit.
Well, Rolly certainly didn't help.
Yeah, he's growing. Rolly, come on, man.
Nah, dude.
That's a whole year of your career wasted. That's a whole year of your career wasted in your so-called prime. Rolly.
I do believe, I do agree with Ryan improving. And I think the longer, because I don't really know what Tank is doing. I don't know what this fight, what weight. I think that's a big factor, especially if I heard that Ryan's thinking about coming down to like 136, like that's the catch weight or something like that. I'm sure it's going to be a catch weight, but all of those things could factor into the fight for real, and I think the longer that it goes, I do think Ryan is going to keep improving. I'll admit as a Tank fan, I can't say that I've seen improvement over the years. I've seen it.
I agree with that.
The first time I saw Tank, like when he first started really like coming out,
that was the best time.
He was special. And then it's like similar to like how I feel about Jamor. Like whatever I thought of Jamor at 154, I haven't seen anything that made me feel like he got better since then. Whereas Ryan, all flaws and all, Oscar know what he's doing. Oscar is great at matching his fighters and keeping them where they need to be. Unless there's a super bag out there, then he'll risk it. But I think Ryan is improving. I don't think Tank is still improving. I think Tank is still very good, but I can't say that he's improving though.
He did I agree, man. He kind of plateaued and he's still pretty much the same.
That's why
I still think the same is better than Ryan Garcia.
Yeah. Steven says, what was your reaction to Shane's wife and Mayorga? What do you mean? Like when they had the face off? This is mad old. Why are you breaking this off?
Wow. Holy shit.
I thought you was gonna say something about Spence or something. I don't know. I honestly thought the whole thing was like planned. I think she had bent over in front of Mayorga and he just grabbed her. And I said, that looked like it's all fake and planned, I don't
bro, what currency is that? I ain't never seen that one.
I don't know.
Zar.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But thank you, man, D man. That's just mad random. I don't think anyone in my life.
Man, that shit was random. Mayorga was a wild boy, man. I mean,
Mayorga was, and he was really beating Shane Mosley in that fight too. Before he got stopped, he was winning that fight. That's crazy. Mayorga, man, that really shows you style make fight because there's no skill set with that dude. But look at what he was able to do against everybody he fought. It was no skill set there. Like, you know, I mean, I guess when we talk about skills, he wasn't that guy, but he knew how to. What's his name? He stopped Forrest twice, right? Was it? Did he stop him on both fights?
Yeah,
Burning Forrest.
Yeah. He stopped Forrest twice, and it's like, yo, Forrest was way like more skilled than him, but you know, I mean, it is what it is. It's just it's about the styles, man.
Yeah, it's about the styles.
Smoking squares and drinking beers.
Yeah, but yeah.
So what we talking about? We going to the heavyweights? What we talking about?
What's happening in the heavyweights right now?
Jared Anderson versus Daniel Dubois. What we talking about?
I think Jared Anderson takes Daniel Dubois.
I think he takes him out.
Yeah,
he's too versatile. He's too fluid.
They said he was going to do a big step up for his next fight. Who they talking about?
Yeah, they said
who they say? Jared Anderson.
They did say, and I actually made a video about it.
Sokolowski? Was it Sokolowski? Somebody was fighting Sokolowski. Was it Sokolowski?
I don't know
who that is.
The one that the upset king, the guy that upsets all of the young prospects. Khalil Sokolowski?
I don't know.
That's not a.
That's a big fight. If
I made a video on this. I just can't. I can't remember.
Yeah.
No, he's fighting Jerry Forrest.
Oh, he's fighting Jerry Forrest. Who's fighting Khalil Sokolowski?
Wait, hold on.
Was it Daniel Dubois
fight Jerry Forrest on the Lopez Pedraza undercard? Maybe he's gonna do it for the Lopez. Depending, I don't know who Lopez is gonna fight, because they saying now that the WC ordered him to fight this dude today. They just announced it today. I just made a video on it today.
Jesus Christ.
Teofimo Lopez is gonna fight damn.
Jeez.
I just made a video. Oh, here we go. Sandor Martin, the dude that beat Mikey Garcia.
Oh, that's not a good fight for Teofimo.
I know, yo.
That's not a good fight for him.
That dude can box, yo.
Yeah, and he's slippery as fuck. Teofimo gonna get frustrated and not gonna know what to do and start making mistakes, and he gonna tag him up.
Yo, Jared Anderson fight not even posted on BoxRec. Ain't he fighting December 10th?
Somebody fighting
I don't know if it's legit. The Demon says, "Man, I'm a big fan of Love from South Africa. Hate what you're doing to what they're doing to Kyrie." Yeah, man. I'm chilling with that, man. I hear you. I feel you, but I'm not going there. I don't want to get shut down.
Hey, all right, we go basketball waves.
Yeah, I feel you, but I'm not gonna. You know, I got my views, but I'm good. But thank you for the donation and all that. But yeah, Jared. I don't think that's a good fight for Teofimo Lopez. Yo, actually, it's funny because I was cool with the Pedraza fight because I felt like I needed to see a little bit more from Teo before they threw him in there with the Wolves at 140. So I wasn't hating on that fight. I said I don't know if Teo is the same dude. You know, that was a good, solid performance in that last fight, but I was like, I don't know if he's ready for the people that people want to see him face right now. But this fight here it's the proper fight, but it's not one that I'm sure he wins.
He's gonna win, yeah, exactly. I agree with you 100%.
Teo was on that lateral movement game and getting the ring cut off on him at times and getting touched up in them corners. That's what was happening in the last fight, but you know he
I don't think this is why I'm against the whole weight bully boxing thing. I'm really against it because it leaves you upset as a boxing fan and it hurts the sport. A lot of these guys cannot go and fight in a healthy weight. So now you got us attached to you in your unhealthy weight, and we're starting to root for you and we're fans of yours. And then now when it comes to you to have to fight in your actual healthy weight where your body has, grown naturally, you're 23, 24 years old, whatever the hell it is. And now you can't even fight at your healthy weight. And now we can really tell who got skills and who don't. Now we can tell who got skills and who don't. That's why I'm against the whole weight bully stuff. I'm tired of that garbage because I want to know who really got skills. I want to be able to pick out the Shakur Stevensons and the Terrence Crawfords out of the crowd, as opposed to the Errol Spencers and the Fondoras and the fucking Charlos out of the crowd, and the Golovkins out of the crowd, and the Benavidez out of the crowd. You know, there's something up with those guys.
I hear your whole crusade now.
Yeah.
Now,
That's what I'm
it's
on.
coming,
I'm on
it's
that.
coming full circle now.
Yeah. That's what I'm on. I'm on that. I don't like the weight bullies. I give the people respect. I give Jamel Charlo respect. I give Terrence Crawford respect. Floyd Mayweather, obviously, because he's fighting at his walk around weight. Manny Pacquiao. Well, the people that's fighting at they walk around weight, I don't give respect to Josh Taylor. I think you're disgusting.
Damn, disgusting.
Yeah, I think disgusting. Now, have you ever seen a picture of Josh Taylor standing next to Terrence Crawford? It's disgusting.
Oh yeah, I seen them on video together.
Yeah, I seen
it. It looked like he's his bigger brother or something.
Nah, that's why my old, when I used to have a pound for pound list, the heaviest thing that weighed on it was multiple weight classes. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, nah, I feel you. I feel what you're saying, bro.
Yo, I feel that I hear what you're saying, and it annoys me, especially when they miss weight, you know, especially when you're big and miss weight. Like, I get why you feel the way you feel about David Benavidez, because
it annoys me, Brave, when they make weight. It annoys me when they make weight. Fucking Zerto. How the hell you make weight, Zerto? You can walk in the ring at 205?
Yeah, that's wild.
But him, Callum Smith too,
Come
bro.
What the hell is going on?
Huge at 168.
Hey, Zerto wasn't even the biggest dude Bivol fought, bro. That's the crazy part.
Yo, Zerto was 204, and I don't know how he was against Bivol, but I know in a fight before that he was like 204
against
to me, you shouldn't be allowed to fight.
Yo,
nah, fam, but how much did Salimov weigh, bro? Salimov, the fight right before Canelo for Bivol, fam. But he was like 6'5".
Okay.
He looked and solid too. Buddy was huge.
How much does Fondor actually weighs on fight night? Does anybody know that?
That might. But Fondor
he just am I correct that man is 6'5"?
Yeah,
and a half.
He's legit. I met him. I met him at the Hall of Fame. I actually think I took a picture with him.
Wave.
He's 6'5". I'm 6'2". He's 6'5" for real.
Wave. I'm 6'5".
That's
how
crazy.
The fuck? I'm 210 pounds. I'm like more like a Deontay Wilder type of body frame. I could never make it down to 154.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's crack. That's
but yo, I think he actually.
What's worse than
I think
crack?
I think he has a welterweight fight too. I think he actually cut down to 147.
God damn.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I think he's been as low as 147.
They need to drug test that motherfucker immediately.
Demon says last thoughts on Bill Haney and Paulie Malignaggi bet going on. Bill Haney makes $200K profit next year. You know what? Honestly, I seen somebody make a video on that, and I scrolled right past it. I didn't even.
Me too. I did.
I don't even know what's going on with that.
Yeah.
Like, I seen the Boxing Voice. I know they had an interview with those two, but I didn't watch it because I don't care. Like, I really don't care. Like, if they not like Paulie's retired, Bill ain't fighting. I don't care about that.
I could only expect the bet to be that we going to fight Lomachenko and we going to win. That's what I'm expecting the bet to be.
I'm pretty sure
that's what the whole argument.
Oh, okay.
About,
they betting
right?
each other for that fight. They're not betting on them fighting.
Yeah, I don't expect. I don't know. I haven't heard, but I would expect it to be my son go whoop Lomachenko ass, bet 200,000 on it. That's what I'm thinking that bet is. You know,
okay. I mean,
because that's what they was arguing over. That's why I'm saying that.
So what was the question?
What question?
Oh, thoughts on the bet?
I don't know. No, it was like, what was they had? Did you see the Lomachenko something?
Well, I mean, listen, if they want to bet, they can bet. I mean, as far as how the fight is gonna go, you know, I think Haney, a couple years ago, I said that I don't think Haney could beat Loma, but I think he has a great chance of beating him now.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
Especially after that.
I think he has a better chance now, but I'm gonna be honest. I'm concerned. I really think Haney could possibly beat Loma, but that weight cut.
Yeah, he did look. Man, he looked bad.
Yeah, he looked bad that last one.
You can't be going into no.
I
fight.
thought it was over.
See,
I was making excuses like I was trying to defend him like because I just didn't think he would still fight at one.
Be able to perform.
I was like, nah, this is it. He got to go up, and I knew people was coming at him already. Like, nah, you just ducking. I'm like, dude, he can't fight.
Look at him,
and he's like, nah, I like the money at 135. I'm staying down here. I was like,
but I ain't going front. I think he might be fucking up right there. That might be a real bad mistake because I don't see nobody looking like that going in the ring against Lomachenko, and Lomachenko is fully hydrated, and you beating him. I
mean, the thing is, though, fam, Loma definitely didn't look the greatest.
No, he didn't. But you got to also understand the sport. Like people rise to the occasion when in their darkest hour. This sport ain't no joke. You got real champions, real brave men here.
I tweeted.
I think I understand the sport pretty well.
No, I'm not. I'm not saying that you don't understand. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? That's just a figure of speech. But what I'm saying is that these men will stand and arrive when it's time. You know what I mean? When it comes down to a real fight, you don't want to be against a driven Lomachenko and you looking like a skeleton.
Well, I said this on Twitter and I got clowned for it. I said I still think I'm leaning towards Haney, but I still think it's a 50-50 fight overall, though. Because I think everybody's basing it off the Jermaine Ortiz performance. And I was like, yo, Jermaine Ortiz looked like he's for anybody to fight right now.
Yeah, he's very good.
Kick a box, yo. Like, he's nice. I like what I saw in that fight.
Yeah, elite fighter.
Who y'all wait, hold on. What do y'all feel about Michelle Rivera and Frank Martin?
It's a big step up fight for Frank Martin, man. That's how I mean, but I still favor him slightly.
Michelle Rivera is a problem.
Yeah, that's a big step up, bro.
I'm not even. I said this in my video. I'm not even. I don't know. I have no idea right now with them two. Like, I definitely gotta watch film study. I don't know.
Yeah, that's my next video, actually.
Yeah,
Michelle Rivera get on his pivot.
You mad early, yo.
Hey, man.
Yo, I hate when he put up videos, man, because I'll be like, damn, man, I ain't even get to this fight yet.
When you do your film study, just watch it afterwards.
Nah, I do. This because you do it so soon and you point out the exact things that I know. I swear to God.
I mean, we're bound, bro. If you know boxing, we're bound to do that.
You point out the exact things. Though. It'd be like the one thing that I'd be like, yo, I see that right away. And then I watch your video and you be like, that's the first point you make. And I'd be like, hey.
I don't know. Hey, it is what it is, man.
But you know what it is? There's a lot of breakdown channels on YouTube and there's a lot of film study guys. And I feel that
I don't think none of them are better than you.
Like that. I don't like the film.
Yeah, I don't think none of them are better than you. I saw your Shakur Stevenson breakdown, and I think it was against the Jamel Herring one. It was picture perfect. The way you explained the way his body, the upper body movement, how he leaned back as he stepped forward to fake the gauge, to like kind of fake the gauge. I watched. That was perfect.
Yeah, that was easy work.
And Canelo did the same thing. You had showed that Canelo did the same thing. And I love that shit.
You talking?
Yo, Charles, you serious?
You know which one I'm talking about?
Charles,
yeah, I know which one you're talking
about. Don't play
about.
with me like that, man. Yo, don't. You serious? Bro?
I learned a lot. I learned a lot of like it's like you learning, but it's also like you confirming what you already saw. Like you know for a fact that you saw that. And you understood it in the time when you was watching the fight live. You kind of understood it, but you didn't know how to really verbalize it or explain it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like you understand it, but you can't really tell somebody what's really happening. But
No,
you
because
real good at telling
you talking
somebody
about
exactly.
yeah. If you talking about me, yeah, no, bro. So much shit happens in the span of
I watch your
a
videos
couple.
for a while, Phil.
That's what I'm saying. So much shit happens in the span of 5 seconds, bro.
Yeah, that you
there's
gotta
no
break it
way.
down.
There's no way that I wouldn't have to put it in slow motion to
Exactly.
explain
Yeah.
what's happening. You know what
Yeah,
I
but
mean?
when you do, and the way you explain it, it shows a little insight into the mind of the boxer, into the mind. It's
I
very
ain't
interesting.
gonna claim all that now.
Well, that's how
but
analysts. That's how boxing analysts take it. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, I hear you.
we try to analyze the
I
boxing.
appreciate the compliment, fam. Much respect.
Yeah, definitely. Respect to you. That's why I was trying to say the other day. I was on another channel, and we wasn't arguing, but we was just speaking about Ben Davison, and I was like, "Yo, Ben Davison got a good technical boxing brain," and they was like,
Yeah.
"Nah, he's just a good for boxing analyst, and he's just a PE teacher and stuff like that." I was like, "Nah, but the boxing brain on the guy, when he speak about boxing, it makes sense. He know what he's talking about." Go ahead.
Hi, bro. I listened to that live, fam. I heard you.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
So look, yeah, I fucks with Ring IQ. I listened to that live. I heard you. I commented, much appreciated for the shout out or at least the recognition. But obviously, you ain't see the comment because it ain't your channel.
Yeah.
But I actually. So the reason why you're right and you're wrong is because it takes boxing knowledge to do this to analyze fights correctly, right? But a good coach has to build systems around the analysis. So if he can't build systems around the analysis, then he's not a good coach. So, but I don't know if he can or if he can't.
I agree with you.
Yo, I think there was one channel. I think the dude passed away.
Oh man!
And he was like the first film study channel that I really like. Wilson Caden.
Yeah, I remember, bro. I've been on YouTube for a long time.
Wilson Caden. Yo, I learned a lot from watching that dude. Like that dude that was the first like film study channel. There was a few that was doing it.
But I know who Wilson Caden actually learned from.
Yeah.
Wilson Caden learned from Coach Barry Robinson.
Okay, Coach Barry was the first. I'm my bad. But I didn't know. Coach Barry, because I used to just watch him because it's just that with him, the Million Style Boxing. He had like the short clips. That's when I first started getting on YouTube. I used to watch his fight, and he used to really, really like break it down and talk. But then the Wilson Caden, I just like the way he
pictured things,
editing and stuff.
Yeah, facts.
And his and he was just giving it like all, and then I think people were saying that he passed away.
Yeah, I heard that, fam. I heard he did.
But then after that, I didn't really watch. It just became YouTube is 90% just drama channels, the Demon, man, you asking me these questions, man, about you. Are you trying to get me jammed up on like, you asking me about certain fighters, certain political views and stuff. Listen, man, as far as the LDBC, I'm cool with a few people that's in the LDBC. All right. I'm just gonna keep it at that. All right. If I don't like talking about
them breathe.
I don't like talking about other channels unless I'm showing love. I'm never gonna diss any channel on here on here. I'm not.
I got the same rule.
Yeah. So
you always been a class act on here for as long as you've been up here. You ain't got to change the day or the month.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you. Yeah, I'm cool with some people from the LDBC, but
I say this though.
I'll just leave it at that.
I say this though. We rock with channels that got boxing knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. And
that's the requirement.
Minds, no agenda. If you just watching boxing just for the pure love of the sport, and you interested in the stats and facts, and you like the sport just for the sport, then I could talk to you all day long, every day about boxing all day long. I got I'm not here because I'm from this place or from that place. Come on, man.
Yeah,
I actually like the sport.
bro, the channels that all they really know is like the dates and times and historical
Yeah, the
events in
historical
boxing,
references.
bro. That I love them channels too.
Yeah,
Fam.
that's my
You know
guy,
what I mean?
Boxing Beats and Rhymes. He don't only
Yeah,
know
I
that. He
rock
knows.
with
Yeah,
Beats.
I fucks with Beats. I've been on his live and everything. Real good people. I respect people that love the sport, man. This is the oldest televised sport in the country, man. Like this is the sport. Like this is what I love. So I'm always down to talk about boxing, and I could always ask you another question about another fight. And off top of my head, I could come up with a fight out of nowhere and ask you a Chocolatito Estrada 3. What we doing? You feel
Right,
me? I could just come
right.
out of nowhere with it because I
Yeah.
love the sport.
Yeah.
And
I don't care about the weight class. I don't care about the race. Chocolatito and Estrada ain't my race.
Facts.
That's another thing too. I think, yo, sometimes when I can't get the content out, like people don't understand that, like when it comes to doing these breakdowns, if I can't be locked in into doing the film study, I'm not putting it out without doing the film study. Like I don't like doing, like
Yeah.
I've listened to people be lazy when it comes to like breaking down a fight or giving you a prediction. You could tell like, man, this dude don't be watching this dude fight like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's the thing that be killing me with it. Like if I don't have the time or my week is crazy, I'd be like, damn, like I want to do this breakdown, but I don't want it to be a half-assed breakdown. And what I wouldn't do is go to another channel and listen to somebody else because I only trust what I see with my own eyes. Like,
Facts.
you know, so it's like I'll be like, that's why sometimes when people be like, yo, you get the breakdown, I'll be putting out like a day before the fight or the morning of the fight. I'll be like, my man, I've been mad busy and I just didn't have enough information to talk about it. And then I know when I talk about it, I talk like off the top. So if that's another thing, I know I'm not going to do it with everything right in front of me. So I got to be fully prepared to do it the way I do it like that.
Yo, hey, tripped out. It's a content creator that pretty much took my film study word for word and just used it and just spoke it like it was his.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know, he'll remain nameless, but
yeah,
but
it
yeah,
sounded
man,
bad, yo. It sounded bad, and this dude don't even make those kind of videos. So it sounded even worse because
that's
like
crazy.
You trying to you saying things.
Oh shit! I forgot I sent it to you.
That you don't even know.
Yeah.
You don't even know about. Like,
I was
you
like,
talk
my
about
man,
things you don't even know.
Stay in your lane. If you are if you are like gossip channel and you just want to talk like, you know, like this whole shit with Arrow today. You know what I'm saying? People been hitting me up asking me to talk about it. I'm like, bro, I'm not talking about that. I hate when people even post that kind of stuff, yo. I hate that because I won't want nobody to do to me. You know, I don't know if that's a real thing. I don't know if it's real. If it's real, then I hope he get help or fix whatever situation he got going on with his girl. You know, I don't want it because I don't want that to happen to me. Like, I hate when people go on the internet and expose that kind of stuff. It looks bad if it is real, but if it's not real and I make a video about it, I'm gonna look like a clown later if that whole thing was like some kind of voiceover.
No, we understand. You got to keep your journalistic integrity.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not doing all that, you know, especially like if it's really his girl that exposed him. Like, that's like, it's just look weird when I see a bunch of dudes gossiping about something his girl put.
That's not hood. It's
not
not hood.
I don't
It ain't
like
good.
that type of stuff.
Man.
You know,
No,
so I don't know.
Bruh, nah, hey, fam, it's weird to me to see a bunch of dudes doing what most dudes do on here, fam, which is hang around gossip, bro. It's like Real Husbands of Hollywood out here, fam. For real.
And it's
like
90%, but that's where the money is at. You know,
I know. I know the game. I know the game.
I seen you do a video. I was watching some of your live when you were teaching people about the monetization and all that.
Yeah.
And listen, if you're on YouTube, we get exactly why you're doing it. Yeah, there's a lot of money on YouTube, so I get it. It's just that it's not for me. It's just even though I know the money's there, I'm not gonna post something just because I know the money's there for it. Because I think if it's corny, I'm just not gonna do it. You know,
it's not boxing, bro.
It's not boxing. if I have to do a film study on a fight that I know nobody's gonna watch, it's between a Japanese fighter, yo, I don't care. It's just that I need to bring awareness because there's not enough people watching these dudes, and I know that they're good fighters. You know,
and
That's
shit. NOA
that's what's up.
Donaire
Respect
too.
to
That
both of
came
y'all.
on at 6:30 in the morning.
Yeah,
Yeah,
respect
going
to
on
both of
live.
y'all for that though. Y'all keeping
Yeah.
y'all integrity when how y'all put your
There's
Man,
no
I love
integrity
this
in there. It's
content
a
out there.
hustle.
Nah, I already
A lot of
know it.
respect to y'all.
I could say it about Wave, and I could definitely say it about myself, man. We love this shit, fam. We
Yeah,
in it
but
for
I
the
could
we in it
definitely
for the
say that I'm
love.
a subscriber to both of y'all channels. I could definitely say that. And
No,
I
I
have
appreciate
been
that.
for quite a while.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. When I got on here years ago, you couldn't even do the monetize thing. Like I was just making videos, and I was making 4 or 5 videos a day.
Oh
Yo,
shit.
I was
I've
younger.
been
I had mad time on my hands. I was just turning my cameras on and just putting up
Yeah,
videos.
that's
I
love,
remember
bro.
messing with Wave. I remember messing with Wave. I've been messing with Wave so long. He lived in Harlem like I live in Harlem. He moved now, but he used to live in Harlem like I lived in Harlem. Somewhere you was in Westchester, like where I was in Westchester. But I remember you went to a fight one night, and I was watching your video. I think you went live or something, and you was hanging out with both Charlos.
I heard
I
the
remember
story.
that. I
Oh
remember you
yeah,
was
no,
hanging
that
out with
video's
both
on YouTube.
Charlos. Yeah, you posted up. You
Yeah.
was in the back of the building or something. You was in the back like Madison Square Garden or something, or Barclays
Yeah,
or
no,
something.
we was in a Barclays. So
Yeah, I remember.
Jamel came to New York. I think it was his first time when he came to New York. This is when Jamel was. This is like 2014, right? Because I was making videos heavy on the Charlos. Like 154 was that was my division. I was on point with everybody fighting at 154. Even like Carlos Molina. Like I was making videos on everybody 154. And Charlo was, I think we followed each other on social media. And Charlo was like, yo, I'm coming to New York. I'm staying at, such and such hotel. Yo, let's link up when I come down. So we came down, we went to the, the little club or whatever. And we got connected with that. So he started telling me like personal stuff. Like I knew, I can say it now, but I knew about the Rock Nation deal. I knew that before that they even posted any of that. I knew all of that. I know some stuff about other people too. I just never put it out there. I would get views. It's not about being the first. It's about like, yo, if you tell me some shit and you don't want it to go public, I'm never telling nobody that. I don't care about the views. So that's how me and Charlo got cool. But that night you're talking about is when there was a fight at the Barclays and I happened to just run into them. I saw them and I was like, yo, what's up, twins? Now, Jamal, at this point, I never actually met Jamal. That was my first time meeting Jamal. We knew each other but I didn't meet Jamal. So they were like, yo, what up? What's good? Yo, let's do a video right here. And I'm like, nah, man. Like, I'm drunk. Like, y'all drunk. Like, nah, not right now. And they was like, nah, fuck that. We doing a video right now. And we recorded a video right there, man.
I remember
I
you
didn't even have
posted
the
it.
questions. I don't remember what I was asking them, bro. I was just so drunk and we was just tore up, but we had a good time. I was supposed to link with them in a 40-40, but that was the night that the jewels and all that got stolen or whatever. Remember the report
the
that came out?
girls that robbed them in the hotel.
Yeah. I was supposed to link with them in the 40-40, but I didn't end up going. Me and my man went to another party we had to go to. But yeah, nah, salute to them, man, because they was definitely, I was supporting them and they were supporting me back, and that was it,
Yep. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
dope, fam. That's dope.
But that's how long I've been fucking around with Wave. That's
Thanks,
how long
bro. Appreciate it.
I've been listening to Wave.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So I mean, you know what? I feel like, and I was telling Jims this on his channel last week. I was like, it seems like it's bad because you got, all of these channels that's just making clown content the majority of the time. And I'm like, you know what? It's all right because people are going to get so tired of that they're going to start looking for real content creators that's really talking about the sport, and it's going to get played out at some point, and once you get exposed left and right and then, I don't want to say that. Let me just say that people gonna start. People gonna still start recognizing the real and start coming around to the real. Like what Jim's is doing is his channel is gonna be quick. It's gonna be at the top real quick. You got Tim Bradley calling him out on a damn ESPN broadcast live.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, just keep doing what you got to do, and that's it. You know, something good come around, jump on it. If not, just keep making the content. Because you love doing it. If you love doing it and you getting paid for it, that's all that really matters.
Oh, yeah. I would honestly, fam. I mean, I wouldn't put out as many videos, but I'd still do it if it was free, fam. So no, at this point, it's my hobby. And, you know, I love boxing, bro. I always have.
Yeah, me too. I don't even know. I pretty much started this off my man that had the channel. He don't make videos anymore, but he used to make videos, and he was just like, yo, we on the talk on the phone about boxing. Why don't you just make a channel? I'm like, I ain't doing that. I'm not going to be standing in front of the camera talking about boxing. You know, this is why I'm here. You know, that's
what's up.
That's pretty much how I started. Yeah, man. But yo, I'm about to get up out of here, man. It was real. I'm going to try to do this more. I've been wanting to do this more. Just like at least once a week where I can just get the panel on here and get people to join having a topic. Like this topic came out of nowhere.
Yeah, wait, real quick. Hi, what you think about my edits and wave breakdown just smashed together in the video?
Yo, I think you guys can definitely have the best, most consistent and non-biased boxing channel on YouTube.
Now we're not joining channels, pal. We just gonna make a video together.
Yeah, he say I'm gonna give my commentary, but he's gonna edit a video while I'm talking, like showing clips of what I'm seeing.
Of course. That's
because you did that with somebody else recently,
quality.
right?
Hold on, but that's better quality than anything that's on YouTube right now. That right there, which I just said,
100%, I agree.
That's better quality than anything that's on YouTube right now. Are y'all crazy? Y'all could do that, but then expand on it because there's something else that y'all could do in there. There's more that y'all could do, but we'll talk about that as we go along. But man, y'all crazy. That's crazy. That's on point.
Oh, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, no, it's definitely gonna happen. I definitely.
I'll tell you.
We just gotta decide on the fight.
I'll tell you this. I'm gonna tell you who's the best boxing video maker on YouTube. Do you know who it is? I'll ask y'all first. And then y'all tell me who it is.
Boxing Gems.
You said Boxing Gems? Okay. What you say, Wave? What you mean maker? Like as far as what? Who makes the boxing videos that everybody wants to watch? The boxing videos that everybody stops for. When you see this person drop a video, you stop. Boxing Gem stops. Everybody stops when this person makes a video on YouTube. Who's that person?
Shit, that ain't nobody for me.
Yeah, it is. It's one person. Trust me.
Wait, who?
I'm asking Wave to see if Wave know. If you give up, nigga, what?
Who do I stop for?
Everybody stop for this dude. When he make a video,
I don't stop for nobody.
When this dude he not a dude. Don't get it twisted. He ain't a dude. Just think about it. When you see this one video, you always stop. And you got to say, damn, I got to watch this one fucking video. Hold on. And it's boxing. And it's straight boxing.
You just got to have to tell me, bro.
Motividia.
Nah, bro, I'm not even sub.
Motividia makes the best boxing videos.
I'm not even sub, bro. On YouTube. I had to disagree. I think Wave got better boxing videos.
No, I'm not talking. No, I'm not. It's not the same type of video. It's not.
No, he makes the documentaries and all that. Right?
He got dope ass edits, fam. Like the edits he has,
crazy highlights.
Yeah, the edits are ridiculous.
Crazy.
I like. You know what? You know who I like? I like Rummy's Corner, yo.
I fucks with Rummy's Corner too.
Just check a Motividia video.
I follow Motividia, but I don't.
Okay. So
I don't click on his video.
Nah, bro, because I don't really rock with boxing hype. I don't rock with boxing hype, bro. I want to see somebody with boxing knowledge, fam.
Yeah.
So
I like.
that's what
All
you
right.
say.
So
You want a more
I have.
technical breakdown.
I have.
Yeah.
All right,
Not
so
the
no,
hype.
not even.
I see what you're
Yeah.
saying.
I
see what
have
you're
everybody that I listen to
Respect to that.
specific things. I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna give it up right now. I like Rummy's Corner for like the documentaries and him breaking down a specific era of boxing. Like he'll do a video on like the 60s or
70s,
something,
60s, yeah.
and who were the champs at the heavyweight from 1990 to 2000.
Okay.
I like that. I like him for that. Now, for when it comes to like film study, that's Boxing Gyms easy. I don't.
Yeah, that's easy. What I'm talking about is not the I'm talking about the video.
I get you,
know.
But I'm telling you who
Oh,
I
no.
listen to.
Hey,
And
now, Hayam, I agree. He make the dopest edits. Facts.
Yeah,
I mean, bro,
he got the baddest videos on boxing in the entire YouTube. It's not
on
even
editing,
close.
on editing, and
yeah, it's like not even close.
Throwing
like,
together some highlight clips. Yeah, dude.
Now, when I want to just listen to like daily, my daily people that I listen to beats. If I don't listen to him daily, he's the only person that I go back and watch and listen to all his news boxing weekly joints, because
you talking about boxing beats and rhymes? You talking about boxing beats and rhymes?
Education with I know the news.
Yes,
already,
I love boxing beats and rhymes.
but he's gonna mix some shit that I didn't even know that happened into the mix. Be like, yo, such and such from this year. I'll be like, yo,
100%.
Wow, I didn't know that. You know,
I like the only channel I do that shit with is Wave, fam. Now, boxing beats and rhymes, I watch most of this shit and Ring
That's
IQ.
my guy.
And Ring IQ. I was gonna say Ring IQ too. I listen to Ring IQ.
Ring IQ is good, but the Godfather is Dwyer.
Oh yeah, Dwyer.
I watch all
everybody rock with Dwyer.
I fuck with Dwyer. I don't care.
Dwyer.
And he be going at my favorite fighters, but I still fuck with Dwyer.
I like Dwyer because I like the fact that he make long videos, because I can just like do what I need to do in the house
and listen to what listen to him.
Like, but yo, I really don't listen to that many channels anymore, because there's so many channels. There's a set few that do what they do so good that I don't need to listen to every other channel.
Multiple, right?
Yeah, because you already got all your information that you need.
Yeah, like when I want to listen to like every once in a blue, like I was listening to my man, what's his name, Coach Malachi. When he talk about certain topics that I think is entertaining, and I just want to hear somebody talk some shit real quick, or I'll listen to him. Or when Blood want to be on that day that he pissed off about something, I want to hear somebody rant, I'm gonna listen to him. I'm gonna listen to my man, my other dude that be always going in on he be going in on what's this name? He be going in on Loma. He goes in on Wilder.
I don't be listening to too many people. That's why I don't be knowing.
Yeah,
Wilder.
Andrew Tucker World.
Nah, he went on Wilder worse than everybody.
I don't listen to him no more either though. I remember when he first popped up.
I can't think of his name right now. I'm bugging. Damn. I can't remember his name right now. I'll get back to you. But yeah.
Well, I say this. I rock with so Coach Malachi, he come on perfect for my commute. I got an hour. I got like an hour and 10-minute commute. Yeah. So every day he's on, and when nobody else is on, so I actually rock with him every day.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, just to listen to boxing on my way home, even though most of his show is just him entertaining.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
He's entertaining. Yeah, that's what he's. I don't even sugarcoat it. I listen to him for entertainment, and that's it. Like I like certain, if he's talking about something that I want to hear somebody go off on, or like blood boxing, or him, or the other channel. I was just trying. I can't think of his name right now.
Yeah, but, I wonder who you talking about. Going on Loma and who?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like It ain't ring.
Nah, my man just goes
Blue Blood.
Nah,
78
Loma.
Bruce. Southpaw.
Nah, I don't listen to that.
Yeah, come on. That's
you ain't talking about Bruce Vane.
I hope I didn't catch you. I hope.
Yeah, I see. That's why I've seen. That's why I don't like bringing up channels. Because I have no history with that dude.
Bruce Vane do
Bruce
be going
Vane,
in
I'm
on
tripping.
Loma,
That's what I'm saying. I'm thinking of Bruce Vane. I'm just
Oh,
tripping.
Yeah,
okay.
it's
I
Bruce
was about to
Vane,
say,
yeah.
I
I'm
rock
talking
with
about
Bruce.
Bruce Vane.
I
And
rock
that's
with
my
Bruce
guy. I
Vane,
love
too.
Bruce Vane. But
Yeah,
yo,
Bruce Vane is, whatever.
Bruce Vane go crazy sometimes. Though.
Yeah, he be pulling up some skeletons.
Yo, he go crazy. But I like listening to him depending on who he's talking about. Sometimes he get a little too crazy, but that's my guy though. I like entertainment. He give me that. Like, yo, I just want to hear somebody go because I feel that way about people sometimes, but I'm just not big on disrespecting people. Period. You know, I'm just not into talking. I'm never gonna talk crazy about anything, and especially because these guys really do it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Like some of these
bro.
guys are really in this.
Wave.
Yo,
Bro, have you, like, I just came out with that Crawford Avanesian film study, bro. You should look at the comment section.
yo, I gotta go watch it, yo. I seen you post it. I was gonna wait because you know what, your videos, I normally wait until I get some time to really because I want to watch it, and I'm used to listening to channels instead of watching. So when it's you, I'm like, yo, I'm on the couch.
Yeah, you gotta sit down.
Hey, check out this cool shit. Check out this cool shit.
I'll put it up on a computer or something like that.
Jesus.
But yo,
that's gonna be an
interesting
film because Avanesian.
Bro, check out this cool shit though, fam.
Good.
So my shit get blasted out on Twitter, IG, all that shit, right? So I got sent to Team Crawford as well. Coach Red was saying he watched it already. You know what I'm saying? Good job and all that, bro. So Coach Red from Team Crawford.
Yeah. And
that's crazy.
That happened with what's her name?
That's cool as shit.
What's her name?
Clarissa Shields.
Clarissa Shields, yo.
She popped up in the comment section. Yeah.
She's like, yeah, you almost got everything right. When I was reading it, I'm reading her comment in her voice.
Yeah, facts.
She said it. She's like, she gave you mad love, but she was like, yeah, you almost got everything right. But nah, good video. Salute to Clarissa Shields, yo. I actually just ordered one of her shirts, and I sent it to my old address by accident, and I'm like, damn, yo. I try to email her and tell her to whoever has the account if they could switch it over to my new account. I mean, my new address. But those shirts she got are fire. I like her new shirts that she got on her website.
I ain't seen them.
Yo, Clarissa Shields is good, bro.
Oh yeah.
Nah, she's good.
She's hey, bro. Good. Hey, I look in the film study, I said she had some of the best head movement in boxing. I meant male and female.
That's what I mean. Yo, I swear, yo, I'm glad you said that. I watched the fight with Marshall and I said, yo, I think she could beat mad dudes, yo. I'm dead serious. I'm not playing. I've never said that about a female athlete ever. I was like, yo,
you're gonna lose me.
Yo, I think she could beat. I'm serious, bro.
Her skill set was there.
I'm not talking about like
not her weight, at least, right?
No,
yeah, not champion.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about like, she could beat some decent, like her. Yo, her skills is on point, yo. I don't even think
it's a fact
no more to anybody.
No, that's a fact, bro. Now, do I think she could beat like men like contenders or champions in her weight?
No, I'm not saying that.
No.
I'm not saying that.
But maybe in a lower weight, yeah, I can see it possible.
She's good, yo. She's good. That Marshall fight, the way she was just moving, yo. These dudes thought that she was gonna get knocked out, bro. They said that she was gonna get knocked out.
Yeah, facts. She whooped Marshall ass.
Both of them went over there and took care of business. Gotta give them their respect.
Well, shit.
The fight was close.
What you mean?
Lucky. I mean,
shit.
Mayor
went over. So we just talking about black boxers now, huh? Mayor went over there too.
I'm just saying. No, man, come on, man.
I rock with Mayor too, but I picked Baumgartner to beat her.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I knew Baumgartner
won though. I think it was close.
Hey,
too agile.
Wave, higher, man. Much love, man. Glad I was able to talk boxing with y'all. My phone finna die.
Yeah, so, I'm about to get up out of here. I've been on this 3 hours, man. Yo,
damn, man.
Appreciate all of y'all, man. for checking in. Please make sure you subscribe to Boxing Gems, man. Seriously, like this is my channel right here. This is where
I think all our subscribers are subscribed.
I think already, they tired of you already, bro. They all like when you came in, they were like Gems.
Right. I think we got cross subscribers, man. I don't think we can help each other out no more.
Yeah. Yo, but yeah, subscribe to Boxing Gems. Chaim, thanks for coming in, man, and dropping knowledge too, man. Not just being a fanboy and all that. Like you came in and made some really good arguments tonight. So I'm definitely gonna be checking for you when I do like future, panels and all that. For real.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Thank you, Boxing Gems.
Yeah,
thanks for hanging
shout
out
out to everybody.
Hey, much respect, fam. Appreciate the shout out on Ring IQ channel, bro. Much love. Yeah. Hey, always, we gotta do this. We gotta do this again on Eva channel, man. I go live for every fight that's on national TV.
A lot of respect to both of y'all, man. You guys are doing great, amazing. Thanks for having me, man. Thanks a lot, man.
Yeah, no doubt. Yo, Charles, man. Yo, you guys can run out, man. I'm gonna just holler at my man Charles real quick. Charles, which question? Tell me in the comments which question you was talking about. Oh, you said 100. Yeah, man. I don't know how. I don't know if you're still on here. Oh, you still on here? What's up, Lance? What's up, MAW? I don't know how to send my. I'm not gonna send my address on YouTube, bro. Yeah, I don't know how to do that. You about to get me caught up out here. If you respond to my comment, it's in private. Nah, that's not private. It's not private. You about to have me go crazy here. Nah, man, you hit me on my email, man. Hit me on my email. Hit me on the email. Send an email or something. I can't do that on here, You're gonna have me caught up out here. You gotta have people coming to my house looking for me. All right. Oh, I would love to start a studio. Listen, I would love that too, but all right, I'm gonna get up out of here, man. Yo, hit me on my email. I've been telling you to reach out to me for years anyway, because I've been wanting to just give you a gift for always supporting, So I would definitely just let me know, if you could send me an email or something, please. I appreciate it. All right. I'm gonna get up out of here. Or hit me on the hit me on something, man. If you don't want me to know who you are, just hit me up on something where I can at least reply to you, All right, but I'm getting up out of here, man. Y'all have a good night. Peace.